fast. And you idiot! If you're not watching Southern Comic Geek. You hear that, Stimpy? Yeah, I heard it. I'm a Northern Comic Geek.
Oh, what's up, YouTube? Southern Comic Geek coming to you with an unboxings video, as well as some comic book reviews, etc., etc., etc. How are you doing today? Or how's everybody else doing today? I'm glad to be here, glad to be able to hang out. What is going on? Tim, the comic collector, the first one in the house, and then Last Crucis from New Mexico. How are you doing, good sirs? Now, before we get into all this comic book foolery, go ahead and smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. Hit the subscribe button as well as the bell notification, so when videos like this one drop ever so randomly, you were one of the first people to know and can make the conscious decision as to whether or not to watch it now or later, as long as you watch it. We appreciate you. Talking about people we appreciate, how about the channel members, people that are supporting the channel through their monthly membership? If you are interested in what those benefits are and becoming a supporter of the channel, then the Linktree link is in the description below. Now, not the least of which, when it comes to benefits, are the monthly giveaways. Now, we've given away some big books here on the channel. If you're familiar with the channel, if you're not, thank you for joining. Perfectly consider hitting that subscribe and bell notification buttons. But yes, the giveaways have been pretty large in the past, and this month is no exception to that. So we have this month's giveaway, which is going to be an Uncanny X-Men 266-94 copy of the first cover appearance of Gambit, second appearance. We all know Annual 14 and all that kind of stuff, but this one seems to be the one that the market has dictated as the desirable of the two books if you had to make a choice. And that's what the giveaway is going to be. So the way you get in, all you have to do is be a member. If you're a member, you get 10 entries to win. Each membership gives you 10 entries to win, because some people are both members on Patreon and YouTube. And then, or, because you can do all three, I guess, is do a super chat in live shows like this. For every $1 super chat that you give, you get one entry into winning. So there you go. It's always a good time to save money, especially around the holidays, but we've got to continue to protect those valuables that we call comics, cards, vinyl records, etc. You can visit bcwsupplies.com, use the coupon code SCG at checkout, and save yourself 10% on your order. There's also a link in the description below. So yes, hopefully everybody is doing fantastic today. And I've got a lot of cool books and a lot of rants, raves, and reviews. Willie Woodall, what is going on? How are you doing today? First off on the docket, we've got Bloodshot Salvation. This was a blank sketch cover, well, at least this down here was, and I don't recall the artist, but I happen to be perusing the Phoebes, if you will, and this was up there on the cheap, no really action on it, and I said, holy rope-a-dope, this has got to be some dope stuff. So I picked it up on the cheap, and it came in. Now, if you're not familiar with Bloodshot, definitely after the reboot, VH2, as some would call it, we've got Superior Hero Collectibles. What is going on? One of the channel supporters. Appreciate you for stopping by. Phil Ailing. Hello, hello, hello. But when you talk about putting Jeff Lemire, Louis LaRosa, Miko Sion on a book, I mean, how can you go wrong with that? I mean, there's just so many good things to be had with that. So glad that came in. On the docket, we've got Primordial. Look at the monkey. Monkey see, monkey do. What is going on? Steven Spock and Worf. Live long and prosper. So the monkey's going, what is this guy doing? If you're not familiar with Primordial, it's kind of just warming up, if you will. This is issue 3, dealing around the time of going into outer space, and them being the Russians as well as us, using animals and all that kind of good stuff. So Jeff Lemire is one of those writers that I'm going to give a first pass to. Hey, he's a good writer. He's written a lot of stuff that I like. I've written a lot of stuff I like. And then this Andreas Sorrentino is the artist that he teamed up with on projects like Gideon Falls. So hadn't really taken off yet. I guess the pun with the spaceship thing is in there, but I am continuing to pick it up. Star Wars number 19. Charles Soule is another writer. I don't think he's up at the level, at least in my opinion, of a Jeff Lemire, but definitely a solid writer. And Star Wars, the main title, has been kind of, just okay for me, going through the whole War of the Bounty Hunters thing that was really dragging on, I think, longer than what it should have. This issue seemed to pick up a little bit, so I'm very hopeful going into the new event that Marvel has got Star Wars going through with the Crimson Empire, that it will be a good read. Surprise pickup of Suicide Squad number 10, something that I actually got number 1 in one of the DC packs. I got number 1 and number 2 in the DC pack, and I read it since, I had it before I, would think to sell them. And I said, man, this is pretty good. It's, as you know, or familiar with Suicide Squad, it's a ragtag. There's various iterations of them. This one is no different, with the eclectic mix of heroes / villains sometimes type that they have. They've added Ambush Bug a few months ago, which is kind of like Deadpool breaking the fourth wall. So that's kind of funny. Superboy, more of a clone of Superboy. He's now turned white like Bizarro. You got one of the Talons in there. So it's a fun little romp, and continuing to pick it up from DC Comics. Now, DC, check that out. I gave it a read because it's still the old $3.99 price, as opposed to what a lot of your other books are. So think about that, DC. Think. Okay, Swamp Thing number 10. And as you can see, by popular demand, extended to 16 issues. Now, this was one that was highly recommended by a lot of people, and decided to get up on it. Rom V's killing it. The art, Mike Perkins doing the art, and I liked it so much so that I ended up going back and picking up the Alan Moore stuff from back in the day. And I'm actually in the in the mood for a hunt, maybe, for a House of Secrets 92, first appearance of Swamp Thing. So this was extended for continue. And in this particular issue, you know who, if you are familiar with Swamp Thing, the Swamp Thing mythos. Lassie. What's going on? Bub's World. Hey, hashtag BubsCon 2023. There you go. So Dr. Woodrue is in here and makes an appearance. Of course, he's a big player back in the day. Walking Dead number 28. This is the issue. I don't think there's any spoilers here, unless you're like me and didn't read the original Walking Dead. But this is the one where Rick gets his hand cut off. The governor and crew are planning on throwing them into the ring with all the Walking Dead. And, of course, the governor gets his ear bit off. I always like to do this little deal or do the Finch covers for these. And I think they come out every 2 weeks. I mean, all they're doing is adding color to them. So we shall see. Let's see here. Here's another one. Joker Annual 2021. I know this came out last week, but the shop that I normally visit did not have one of these by the time I got there. So ended up picking this up at another shop when I was out of town this week. Dark Knights of Steel number 2. This is a pretty good read, so I've heard. I ordered one of the special covers from 616 Comics. That has not come in yet, so I have not read number 1, but I hear it's really good, and so I went ahead and picked up number 2 in anticipation for that. C-List, E-Man, what is going on? And we got Joker Puzzle Box. I have not read this particular issue yet. This is issue number 5. It has not been very entertaining to me anyway, as of yet. However, it is one I'm already now 5 issues into. Matt Rosenberg is the writer. He's kind of hit or miss for me. So we'll see. We'll probably go all the way to the end. We got Knighted number 2. This was another book. I believe I ordered number 1, which was a homage to Dark Knight Returns. So in anticipation of getting that one from 616, I went ahead and picked up issue 2 because the shop that I normally visit does not have AWA upshots there. Mark Texeria, which you recognize his kind of rough around the edges, is I would say drawing / coloring that he is known for, at least by me, in series like Ghost Rider in the 90s or Wolverine, several issues. So Knighted. Batman 89 number 4. This has kind of been a nostalgic read, but it has been okay. I've enjoyed the Superman 78 more, but with that being said, I went ahead and picked up issue 4 of 6 of Batman 89. World of Krypton number 1. Now, you know, if you're familiar with the channel, that I don't pick up an awful lot of Superman issues out there, but this Miko Sion cover and Robert Venditti writing it, it was just too much to pass up. Now, and looking on the inside, to me, the art leaves to be desired. It's almost like an animated series type thing. But with Robert Venditti writing it, it probably promises to be good. So big fan of his. Picked up the Batman Annual number 26. Ra's al Ghul, which you know that Ra's al Ghul will be coming to the forefront in the upcoming Shadow Wars crossover. Batman across Batman titles. Decided to pick these up. Not really collecting the annuals per se. I'm not going after it like I was the mainline issues, but if I can find them on the cheap, I'm going to go ahead and pick them up. Wolverine 1000. Wolverine 1000. Forget what volume of Wolverine that is technically in, but went ahead and got that yesterday. Bloodshot number 1. Can't have enough of this Barry Windsor Smith chromium goodness. First chromium cover ever. Yeah, and you're on your phone watching it. Say you're on your phone watching it. So what does that say about your job? What's going on? So this is more than I typically pay for one when I find it. You know, I'll pay $1, $2, $3, but kind of splurged on that one. I paid $5. I think that's like copy 25 or something like that. Wolverine number 6. So I just these Wolverine titles. So I've got all of course, the first miniseries, the first full series, and I think I have all of volume 3. But there's several other ones before you get to this current one, which I think that, which I think is volume 7. There's several of them, and I was thinking that it was only one of them that had this Marvel Now banner at the bottom. So when I was going through the dollar bins yesterday at this new shop that I found, I elected to get these versus the Alan Davis covers because I was thinking, well, they're just the A or B covers. Well, no, this is a different series, Jason. So I could have got some more at only $1 a piece. Life goes on. I'll pick them up later if they're still there. We got Wolverine number 6. This is a Ryan Stegman cover. Number 7. And see, additionally, this is what also threw me off because they were in this order, because here is number 8, but it's of the different series. You got number 10, number 11, number 13. Another one of those guilty pleasure books, Shadow Man number 0. Wrap around chromium goodness, all for $1. $1. And in one of the earlier volumes of Wolverine, Jaylee, Wolverine number 15. Jaylee just does the covers, doesn't do the interiors. But there's 15. There's 20. Wilson Fisk action. Wolverine 307 when they went back to legacy numbering. Of course, now they've gone back to the new numbers. We got Wolverine 308. Because, Bub, you're a multitasker. You can roll that way. Wolverine 309. Wolverine 312. 314. 313. Boy, I got some Canadian action going on here today, don't I? Wolverine number 10. Wolverine number 11. Going back to that Jaylee cover run there. Wolverine number 8. So we got number 5 and number 3. So it was definitely a lot of Wolverine. And as you see, they haven't even boarded and bagged them yet because I just got them. And something that you don't find that often, but because it's a dollar bin type book, but it's just that you don't find them that often. And that is Quantum and Woody number 4. This is from the first series back when Acclaim had the Valiant or owned the Valiant titles. Quantum and Woody was one of the original characters that Acclaim came up with and that they actually kept going forward into VH2. So this was Quantum and Woody number 4. And talking about Acclaim and Valiant, how about Turok, the Dinosaur Hunter for Nintendo 64? So, yes, you caught that reflection, didn't you? So yeah, Turok, the Dinosaur Hunter, picked that up yesterday. So in Monroe, Louisiana, Frog's Flea Market, if you're in that area, decided to go by there and check that. The shop that I normally go to asked me if I had visited that one. Oh, and it was like 3 miles down the road. So I went down and seen that, picked up a lot of those dollar bin books, as well as some of, I don't think, well, he had some bigger books, but it wasn't nothing I was interested in. Now, he did have a lot of Golden Age, like Gold Key stuff for TV shows. I don't really collect that. And for Gold Key or Golden Age, it's Batman, Dr. Solar, Magnus, Turok, and in which talking about Turok, here we go with another Turok, Son of Stone, which is what he was known for back in the Gold Key days. For sure, C-List, for sure. Also picked up Incredible Hulk -1. So I have the newsstand copy of these -1s, which was a thing that Marvel did one year. As opposed to a 0, they did a -1. I had a newsstand copy. It's a totally different cover, and I didn't realize the direct had a different cover on it. But I found that out yesterday and picked it up for $1. And it made me holla. We got Wolverine number 3, another Ryan Stegman cover. Number 4. Wolverine's always got to be on the back, don't he? And then number 5, little Thor action there. Little Thor going to the flow. All right. Crimson Reign. I think I said Crimson Empire earlier, but the new Star Wars deal is going to be Crimson Reign, and this is kind of this is the first issue, issue 1. So basically, Kiara knows that Palpatine or Darth Sidious, and of course Darth Vader are both Sith. The way she knows that, as was alluded to at the end of the Solo movie, was the fact that Darth Maul, kind of mentored her before he, of course, went off and got killed. So she knows about that. She wants to take the Empire down, and she does this deal pitting everybody against everybody else. And towards the end of this issue, Darth Sidious is taking note and calls for Darth Vader, who needs to handle that. That's an interesting tidbit. I've never thought through that. It's one of those tidbits that people go, whoever came up with that? Okay. Nightwing number 21 annual. Tom Taylor writes this, which I like what Tom Taylor does in a lot of his stuff. Some not so much. But he is pretty solid on Nightwing, in my opinion. And this was an interesting tale that you don't see that often when you talk about the dynamic between Red Hood or Jason Todd and Dick Grayson. Jason Todd came after Dick Grayson. And, of course, in here it alludes to him having to follow in the Perfect Golden Boy's shadow. And so they have this story they tell about what happened in the past and then what happened now, and they tied it together. It's pretty fun. Wow. Interesting. Now you know. And knowing's half the battle. We got Batman 2021. I was glad to see this little story, which has been in the back of the Batman titles, come to a finish. I don't know if I feel that great about paying $6 for this annual, but because the art was very whatever. Ghostmaker, probably of all of the characters that Tynion came up with during his tenure at Batman, is the one they seem to be using more. So maybe that's why I would say, okay, he's maybe trying to develop him into being his own character versus just a knockoff. But we'll see. We got Star Wars Tales, the photo cover, Star Wars Tales 22. Pick this up off of Instagrams. Alf 50, the last issue. Ha! They killed me. That's right. They canceled him. He was canceled. This was cancel culture before it was a popular buzzword. No, Alf. Newsstand copy of Alf 50. And that's, of course, the Alf #1 cover, minus the kill me part. Savage Dragon #3 newsstand copy. This contains some of the first work of J. Scott Campbell there in the back. Pick up these Image comics and that I can find on the cheap newsstand copies, those early Image comics, because by that point they really weren't distributing them in high volume. Detective Comics 647, another newsie. And this is the first appearance of Stephanie Brown, a.k.a. Spoiler. Not one a spoiler warning because this came from the 90s, but her character spoiler. Then we got Creed and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, #1 from Lightning Comics. This one is signed by the creator. If you can see that little silver signature pin there, in 1996. By the creator. And I also put it in one of the nice little clear backing boards. Decided to put that in there. And this was actually colored by one of the creators in the comic book community, J. Hood Creative. I thought it was. I saw his name in the credits, and I'd seen something where he had sent Hoodat before some work. And he actually, so I had tagged him in that post that I did for Turtle, where I showed that book off, and I tagged him in the post, and he confirmed it. Camera was going out or not. It was on this side, but I tagged him in the post. He sent me some art that I want to take a look at, but I haven't had a chance to do so. This was one of those weeks, or the week of the year, that is like balls to the wall with work. And that's really painful, by the way, if you've ever tried it. And if you've tried licking frogs, imagine you've tried to have your balls against the wall. Having said that, it was just one of those busy weeks. And so I have not had a chance to take a look at that yet. So I stopped by the Target and I ended up picking up this Cad Bane with Toto 360 pop. This is according to that little sticker anyway. The 2021 Fall Convention Limited Edition. So decided to get that. It's really kind of a heavy. I guess maybe it's his head or whatever it is. But I picked up 2 of those, so I'll be selling those on a comic auction near you. So let's pick up these books. What's going on, Big Will? Big Will says, I have arrived. Big Will got some big books in the other day. Got that first Iron Fist. I didn't see it on that post, Big Will, but I'm assuming that book is going to be up for sale. If anybody is in the market for a first appearance of Iron Fist, while things are on the cheap. Got 9 folks in here. Appreciate that. Go ahead and smash that like button if you have not already. See, who did I get these from? Oh, this is from Mike Mayhew Studios. Yeah, at some point. Yeah, I figured you would be. So these are from Mike Mayhew Studios. I have some of the art, not the sneaker covers that he's been doing lately, but some of the art that he's been doing lately, I've really been digging. In the past, I have not been a big Mike Mayhew fan. But having said that, some of the art lately, it's been really, really nice. So I bought some other books from him because I think if you bought so many, you didn't have to pay shipping. This was really the only one that I wanted from him, which was Incredible Hulk number 1. And of course, it's an homage to Incredible Hulk 340. And I got the signed version up here. And it includes a COA with it as well. So, pick that up from him. I did get some other stuff, but I'm not going to show it since it's for sale. It took him a while to get it, but it's probably... He's explained to me before that where he gets his comics from, of course, like Incredible Hulk 1 just came out last week or maybe week 4. It's more recently come out. So by the time it gets to where he gets his comics from, then they have to ship it to him. It's not like he gets it directly from Diamond. All right, who is this from? Stevie B. Valiant. That's right. Stevie B. I just realized there's his little address right there. Well, now, Stevie B, I've got your address. I would flood Stevie B with loads of Valiant if it didn't make me cringe every time a comic book is destroyed. If it didn't make me cringe, I would send him more, but I've got some coming his way, irregardless. And these I picked up, Comic Foo, hashtag Foo is a furry. I picked up these on his auction. Him and Foo and also Squatchy were all... Oh, dang. That's a coincidence. Him and Squatchy... We're doing I'll show you what I'm laughing at last after I show you the books. So, him and Squatchy were, and Foo were all selling books. And so I picked these up then. We've got the Atom number 37, a nice 12 center first major mana. I wonder if this is the same thing as Mana Mana. Do, 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 Mana. Yeah, not the same Stevie B. You said it, I'm like, oh, okay. That doesn't sound like his deal, but I'm assuming. Then we got Divergence number 1. This is the first appearance of Grail, Darkseid's daughter with the Amazons. And this is one of those free comic book day previews of the book. This first full and origin of Grail, daughter of Darkseid. And it doesn't have the store stamp on there, so that was pretty nice. I bought that lot for a few books, and I got these other ones. So that was one of the books I really wanted out of the lot. Toxic Avenger number 3. Toxic Crusaders. They're gross, but they still get girls. So it says, say hi to all the millions of Toxic Avenger fans out there. I don't know which smells worse, him or my diaper. That kid is really scared. Wolverine number 80, which technically they say is the first appearance of X-23 in comics because of the test tube that's in there. Of course, they've since retconned that she wasn't, in fact, a clone of Wolverine, but they had used Wolverine's stuff and put it in to her mother. Different Stevie, but that would be Stevie B, right? Stevie B. This would be Stevie B, aka Burke Nasty, aka Burke Family. What is going on? We got Teen Titans Special number 1. Interesting cover, and it has a cameo of Crush in it. I don't know. Not a big fan of Crush. I did buy the first Crush the other day from Big Will, but not a big fan of the character. Just bought it because it was on the cheap. Got Batman Free Comic Book Day, some Miko Sion goodness. I already have this one. I actually got the Virgin one that was a ratio. Captain Atom number 2. Invaders number 7. Yeah, this is the account that he doesn't want people to know about. That way he can still be Burke Nasty. So did I show? Okay, Big Girls number 3. Big Girls Don't Cry, but they obviously are in comics. So he threw a couple of stickers in there. Yeah, thank you. Little hatchet. And then, of course, Stevie B. Somehow I don't think he's got that physique, but hey, whatever suits you. All right, so really that was the Wolverine 80. I've already have one, but it was cheap enough that I wanted it. I wanted that Divergence comic, and I figured I could resell the Atom 12 center. So he told me that he would throw in a Valiant comic for me signed, and he was not joking. I figured it would be one of the 90s ones that are in billions of print run and fill the dollar boxes somewhere. However, he surprised me with a more recent find, and I don't actually have this cover. I don't believe I have this cover, but this is Harbinger Wars number 2, and he signed it. Stevie B, hashtag Stevie B Comics. He should have said Stevie B Valiant, but regardless, he signed it. So that's funny. So Harbinger Wars 2 was not all that great. 1 was good. 2 not so much. But yeah, so he signed it. We started the Stevie B Valiant thing because he doesn't like Valiant comics. Of course I do. But so every video I watch of his, I always put hashtag Stevie B Valiant in there, not Stevie B Comics. All right, this comes from the Cleavers. You can catch the Cleavers on various auctions, but not limited to, the one you find here normally on Saturdays at 1 p.m. Central Time. I have picked this up from them. I picked up several things from them, actually. They had this one book I did not actually have as a Valiant book. And I'm like, what? Can't believe they had it. And they didn't realize they had what they had. They thought it was just the regular cover. It was actually the gold cover. And so me and one other person in there knew what it was. So it got bid up a little bit. I still paid less than I would have on eBay. And so that was good. I don't know if they got it maybe from somewhere. I didn't know what it was. And they had a $2 pull box. A lot of times when you get those $2 pull box, you go, here we go. Here's the stuff nobody's ever heard of, the Comico comics and all that kind of stuff. But now they had some pretty decent stuff in the $2 pull box, one of which was Batgirl 45. Nice little Dotson cover there, which I already have a copy of that. We got the Despicable Deadpool 290 variant edition. Cold Spots number 3 by Colin Bunn. If it's Colin Bunn, I'm assuming it's probably horror related. I don't know. Darkhawk 51. Cool book. I got a copy though. So that'll be going in a sale near you. And here it is, the Ninjak Gold. So I didn't have the gold version of Ninjak. It's one of the Chromium guilty pleasure books, but just never picked up a gold one, never found one at the right price. And actually with this particular Chromium one, as opposed to say Shadow Man or Turok, I don't find as many Ninjaks out in the wild. Guess more people kept them. And going along with the Chromium goodness, we got Saber Tooth. This is the one shot after Saber Tooth breaks loose from the X-Men. They quit the storyline where they were after Wolverine popped the claw through his head and he acted like he was dumb. He guts Psylocke, and of course that goes into a different storyline. But this is when they capture him. So a couple things happen here. He messes up Angel's wings, which ends up leading them to go back to being the regular wings as opposed to the metal ones. And he also gets captured, supposedly killed. Of course, we all knew better. And he becomes a member of the X Factor team, the X Factor government team there for a while back in the 90s. This was one, it was in the $2 pull box, Spider-Man Unlimited number 1. And actually, they bought a copy from me of this Spider-Man Unlimited, and I wonder if this is the same copy I sold them. That would be interesting. We've got Sandman number 1, Sandman Universe number 1. And then we got Thor number 704, and this is the Hulk variant. I'm trying to see who the cover artist is because it looks pretty dope. But I'm a big fan of these Gwen Stacy covers across things, or like in this case, Hulk covers across titles. I don't really like that, but so yeah, most of those will be going in an auction near you. I wanted to see what some of the $2 options were. Of course, I pulled rather some good books, none of which I'm going to keep. So really the only one that I'm going to keep out of that is that Ninjak Gold. But I was already paying for shipping for that. So might as well get a few other books that you might could sell or might end up with something that you like. So there you go. But that's what I did on that one. What I'm going to do now, folks, is I am going to drop this link up in the chat if anybody wants to join me. And I recognize you. If anybody wants to join, you are certainly more than welcome to join. We'll talk some comics, various other things that might be affecting comics and all that kind of good stuff nowadays. I have got probably another 20 minutes that I can fake like I'm working. Anybody wants to hop on. CFAP. I'm glad you mentioned that. Originally, I was off on my weeks. If you recall last week, I was telling everybody, hey, no auction this Saturday because I was thinking I was going to be on Rob's Fat Stack of Comics, his Comic Hub, or Slab Hub rather, show. However, I was off a week. So I am actually thinking, I'm not for certain I'm going to, but I'm thinking that I'm going to go ahead and have an auction tomorrow or Saturday, December the 11th. Anyway, since I'm not going to be on Slab Hub until next week. So if I do, I will reach out to you first, good sir, and give you a first shot if I'm assuming that's why you're asking that you wanted to be on the show. So if I do, I'll reach out to you first and let you know. We got somebody in the chat who has arrived.
Hey, I have arrived. And apparently my hair didn't dry proper and it looks weird.
Well, at least you have hair to dry.
Yeah. I didn't mean to flaunt that for you, but while I'm here.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that was a well-provoked, unprovoked, well-placed shot, but, hey. What's been going on with you?
Not much. I just been pricing different comics and stuff. I got through with my magazines here. Pricing them on the back.
Well, I think that Gary B.
Yeah.
I think he's collecting that Savage Sword run. I think that was him that was collecting it.
Huh.
Somebody I was talking to was collecting it. I was just thinking if you were selling them, might be somebody could sell them on the side too.
Yeah, maybe. I was thinking of bringing them to the convention.
Gotcha. Yeah, and
25 magazines. So,
yeah, me personally, I'm guilty of, like, if I start getting, because I'll get a slew load. They come in droves of mystery boxes or stuff I've bought that.
Yeah, well, that happens, Jason, when you order 42 or however many mystery boxes.
Yes, that's of course another conversation, but yeah. So what happens if I don't sell them and I still have them? I go, oh man, I got to get rid of these things. But I was thinking the other day, Jason, quit. If you don't get rid of them, it's fine. You'll need some for Huntsville.
Yeah, I've got to measure a table in here and see how many long boxes can fit above and below an 8-foot table.
So I told you that I'm going to put together a rack for the behind us, right?
No, you didn't. That's good news though, because I was looking on the internet and the only thing I could find would be a magazine rack freestanding from a store, and it was available for pickup only in Illinois. So that was another.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do is it's going to be something that you can put together like with pipe, because I don't have my truck anymore.
Oh, PVC.
Yeah. And so that way I can just put it together when I get there.
Yeah, I got rid of my Cobalt and I now have a Kia Soul. And those things look weird, I'll admit that. But on the inside, it's great. And I have surprisingly a lot of room. I was able to get a whole collection of a bunch of different long boxes and fit it in there pretty easy.
Oh. Well, so for those of you who might not know what Big Will and I are talking about, we are going to have a booth at the Huntsville Comic and Pop Culture Expo in April of this coming year. So if you are in the greater Huntsville area, then certainly feel free to come by and check it out.
Mm-hmm. So far, biggest names are Kevin Eastman and Jim Starlin that will be there. But they say they got more announcements coming, so who knows who else they're going to get.
Yeah, so they've been doing, at least on Instagram, they've been doing an announcement a day.
Yeah.
I figure that.
And I asked in one of those announcements, hey, these are great, but will you have more comic book announcements? And he said yes. He actually responded to it.
Well, yeah, so that's what I was going to. Yeah, Bob, for sure. I think that they're saving the best for last type deal. Well, aside from the headliners. So they put the headliners out there, Kevin Eastman, Jim Starlin, but I think they're going to be some good names that we're going to like, but they're going to save them closer to the con to try to build up. So.
I wonder if George Perez Mike, because you know he wants to do at least one signing and at least one more convention. I wonder with he lives in the Georgia area, and I think April is the biggest con, and that would be one that he might be able to actually still be alive. I wonder if we might get a George Perez announcement, or do you think that's wishful thinking and he'll go?
I think that's wishful thinking. That would be a huge draw. I mean, if they could pull that off, because essentially you're talking about the last big signing. But I don't know. I mean, because you think about he's been diagnosed with 6 months to a year to live.
Yeah, that's why I was thinking April.
I mean, that's 5 months from now.
Yeah, I mean, his best thing if he wants to go to a convention would probably be something like, I don't know if C2E2 is going yet or not, but I mean, there's other conventions that he'll fly, but I don't know if he's well enough.
Yeah, exactly. So it would have to be something that he's driving to.
Yeah, so see, Huntsville would definitely be a driving that he could drive to. That's why I'm kind of wondering. I don't know if he doesn't. That's okay. You know, I've already met him. I've got a picture with him, and we're going to be busy anyway. And I mean, Jim Starlin and Kevin Eastman are no slouches, plus whoever else they have. So
sure. Well, Bub says that we could get a table at BubsCon 2023.
Okay, how much is it? $1.50?
Yeah. So we got to talking on a stream, and Bub got this kind of epiphany for a con in his little podunk town in Kentucky. So that's what he's talking about. And
I don't know how podunk it is when I from another state have heard of and know of Bowling Green.
Well, I'm just saying, this is his words, not mine. This town has nothing. Now
that means it probably has space, and a convention would work.
Well, see, that's what he's getting at. But now they do have a hotel there. He said that's you rent by the hour. I don't know how he knows that. We'll leave that one alone. But
yeah, you definitely need to start with a nightly rental hotel to think about a convention. The hourly ones that ain't gonna fly.
Oh, he had to move it. Oh, okay.
It's the third largest city.
Yeah. Bowling Green's bigger, but yeah. So that's not where he lives at. Well, he had to move it, so I guess he was talking about renting like the movie theater. And like everybody was going to be over there, then they were coming over.
Wait, how would you have a convention in a movie theater? All the seats would be in the way.
No, it wasn't. So like the hotels, like in the same shopping center at that movie theater. So he was thinking, okay, people just walk over there from there. But hey, he's got time for it to evolve. It's not till 2026.
Yeah. But hey, Steve. But we, that would be something we might want to. That would be cool if we all got together and had our own comic community convention.
Yeah. That's what we're kind of aiming at.
There would still be the logistics. Not everybody could be there. And how would you afford to pay the stipend that everyone gets? The guests.
Well, Bub's got plenty of money. I mean, so that answers your question.
Okay,
yeah.
Great.
Yeah. So, that answers your question of who would pay.
Okay.
What's going on, Steve? How are you? Yeah, Bub's got to come up with some guests. He was trying to come up with some guests.
Well, apparently Kevin Eastman's only like $5,000. So if you want, there you go.
I mean, there's your big draw right there. And then you do like every other Comic Con and have. So he was talking about having like a swap shop where people just bring their books, essentially swap or trade a few dollars here or there, whatever for it. But
yeah, well, you don't need like media people or anything. Just one or two comic people, some local artists, and books.
Yeah,
there you go.
That's it. Keep it simple. But you have one big name like that, and I think he would pay for himself.
Yeah, probably.
Especially if it's in a bigger town where, because like you were saying with logistics, how are people going to get there that don't live in driving distance?
Yeah. Well, It doesn't matter if C2E2, I would still drive because I don't fly.
Yeah.
But yeah, logistically, well, as long as it's a straight shot from Louisville, I mean, as long as it's less than an hour drive, that'd be good. Just everybody fly. If they're flying to Louisville, north, south, east, or west for an hour, boom, they're there. Simple.
Yeah. Yep. Because
he says no celebs, just comic vendors. Also going to show 2 movies in a theater attached.
there you go.
Okay. Wait a minute. Which movies? You going to try and get new stuff that the theater has at the time? Or are you going to be like, is it going to be like The Goonies and, Raiders of the Lost Ark or, classics or something?
Well, he was the other night. I don't know. His thoughts might have changed, but he was like, let's show the worst ones. So everybody was coming up with the worst movies ever. So.
Well, you need the Fantastic Four movie that you have to get on bootleg.
Yeah, they did bring that one up. Yep.
Yeah, that one from the 90s, and the Captain America movie from the 90s where he had that see-through shield. And
is that the one Red Brown's in or whatever?
Yeah. That would work.
So, yeah, you brought up George Perez, and he is one that I have not met yet that I would like to have met. And
really?
It appears that that's never going to happen. I do have 1 or 2 books I bought that were already signed by him, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, he was at Dragon Con just about every year.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. You have you ever been to Dragon Con?
Nope.
Well, that's one place you could have met him, but I don't know. He specifically said he would like to do one big signing. I assume the best place to do that would be at CGC, just so everyone.
I think he's already scheduled for CGC signing.
He isn't yet, at least not according to CGC.
Oh, okay.
But that would probably be the best place for that. And for a convention, just a medium, big enough convention for a size. But when and where, though, that's the question. Because in a perfect world, February would probably be the latest he'd want to do.
Sure.
Plan for.
Yeah.
But I don't know of a big convention. I mean, I think C2E2 is already happening now.
It is. But I don't know if it's happening the same time next year.
Well, it ain't going to happen in January or February of next year. That's too soon.
That's true.
So what big conventions or medium conventions would happen in January or February? I mean, I know Hudat talks about the New Orleans or something expo.
Yeah, what used to be Wizard World, it's now Fan Expo.
Would that be a proper, or I don't know.
It was pretty big the last year I went there. Well, I mean, it was actually 2020. So I went there then before COVID hit. And it was pretty big. I mean, you had Steranko, you had several, Neil Adams, you had several big ones down there. It's pretty busy too.
Oh, so he might, in January, that might be a good one for him.
Yeah. I mean, really, I think that he could probably do something like if some of the comic shops there in Atlanta wanted to put something together, they could, because there's a swap. It's not a swap shop, but it's more of a old style conventional convention with just a lot of books there that Atlanta does. I think they have them every month. That would probably be a big venue for him and not very far of a drive if you say he lives in Atlanta or Georgia rather.
Yeah. Well, really anything, Georgia, that South Carolina, Alabama, and Florida, anywhere in those states would be good.
So talking about Florida, Pensacon's in February.
Pensacon might be good, and that's Pensacola. That's not down like
it's
near Orlando. I could drive there in a day.
Yeah, Pensacon was good last year. It was, or rather this year, it was packed. I'm talking about packed. I couldn't even hardly bring my wagon. You know the wagon I drag around. Yeah. I couldn't even hardly get it around. It was so packed. But yeah, it was good.
Well, that might be an option. Huh.
Yeah, I know they've got several because they're doing like Huntsville's doing. They're kind of releasing their people, kind of leading up, trying to build the excitement.
Hey, check Bub out.
Was
Comment just popped up. Oh, so this is a real thing we're doing. He's actually okay.
Yeah. He was. I think the more he talked about it, the more excited he got about it the other night when we were all talking on Two Brothers.
Oh, I thought this was just joking. You're like the real deal thing. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I think initially it was a joke, but the more he got to thinking about it, it kind of blossomed out.
Yeah.
Hey, and Bub, one person that, just because I know them, not to say that they're the best person to contact, but they're a person I feel like would share information from you and could be a vendor for you, is Jeremy that puts on the Huntsville Comic Expo. He would probably share some tips with you as far as scheduling and all the other kind of stuff. And he's also a big vendor. So, and since he lives in Huntsville, that wouldn't be too far of a stretch for him to come to your company.
And there's also Bonafide Comics. He's a Carolina boy,
and
he does the conventions and stuff.
Because sometimes, you get people that go, well, you're mooching on my territory. I'm not going to share anything with you. But I think Jeremy would be forthcoming with some of that behind the scenes information.
Well, I don't know if he would, because Bub's doing it in April.
Oh, well, that's
when the expo is. It's in April.
Don't tell him when you plan on doing it, Bub.
Yeah, don't tell him that. So don't sign him up for a vendor. Just ask for tips.
Yeah.
But if you do it early April, that means we could go.
Yeah.
I have no idea, CFAP. I haven't ever had him in a convention to ask yet. This will be my first time.
I don't think it's too expensive. A lot of times those prices vary depending on the cost of the convention. But
yeah, I would imagine he would probably charge you an arm and a leg at New York or San Diego, but it's something like a Huntsville, it's probably half.
Yeah. I would think $30 to $50.
Yeah.
A lot of them charge more if you want to get it CGC'd.
Yeah, well, I don't tell them that unless they specifically asked.
Well,
and most of the time I get to say no because I'm getting it CBCS, not CGC.
Yep. Well, and
I tell you, this is the main thing I want him to sign, because I think with a press and a clean, it looks pretty sharp.
Yeah.
So this is the main thing I want him to sign.
Well, he yeah, so he'll charge more, but and I understand why they charge more for CGC, because they know a lot of people are
going to sell them.
Going to turn around and sell them, but
well, as long as you can take me off this screen, long as it ain't $10 for a regular SIG and then $60 if you CGC it, as long as it ain't a huge swing like that, it doesn't bother me.
Yeah. Well, and what I, like you were saying, mentioned CBCS, sometimes I just, because you got one or two choices, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to buy less books or less signatures to get my stuff graded at the con, or I'm going to go without getting stuff graded. So,
or you're going to spend more if you're doing CBCS and have it authenticated when you send it.
But I'm sending it on my
option with them.
Yeah, but I'm sending it on my time, and I can send it like when con season's down, so I'm not using that money that I would otherwise use to buy books then. So
I wonder, what? I'm going to find this out right now. I'm going to go on CBCS and see if you can place an order and have the signature be a witness signature rather than the authenticated,
Yeah.
I wonder if they'll let you do that. That way we could print and everything and have it packed up ourselves and just hand it to them to throw in the mailbox, or do a signature to say, yes, I witnessed this.
So Tony Fett, what is going on, Tony? Just for you, check that out. little Hulk #1, Hulk 340 homage signed by Mike Mayhew. But yeah, Bub says he's meeting with the people that run the Bowling Green Con tomorrow to get their blessing. So
that will work. Let's see. Submit comics.
Warlord, how are you? Warlord, you're on your way to C2E2, aren't you? Tony says that Eastman SIGs are first one free, $20 for each one after that. So.
Oh, that's short, sweet, and simple. I like it.
And yeah, he does seem like a fan kind of guy, you know. So
yeah. Okay, let me see here.
So Warlord, you're
wait a minute
on this stream.
We have add authentic that you can do.
Yeah, Tony. So C2E2, I didn't go to last year, even though it was in February last year. That was when I was like, man, I really want to go, but I had been to several cons already in January. And of course, who knew about that thing called COVID was going to hit. But this year it happens during the week that it's like there's no working around me having to be tied up. And I didn't want, so I just got back home yesterday afternoon. I didn't want to turn right around and fly out, you know, and be gone another weekend when I've been gone all week. So.
All right, so I just did that online, and yes, you can do it so that it's authenticated rather than the verified, and you can print it out at home. But I assume you would need one of them to check off on it or sign it or something.
Yeah, that makes plenty of sense.
I don't know if I'll try that, though. I think I'll just fill it out and pack it up myself and hand it to them.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, then you don't have to stand there in line and fill it out, right?
Yeah.
So that's a plus. Biggie says Southern and more Southern. We got, do you get a COA when they sign? Sometimes, a lot of times they will charge you for that. But you know.
They are offering that signature verification company again. So you will be able to get a COA with it if you want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it'll need a CBCS witness. Well, and the good thing about Huntsville is CBCS is actually there versus a
vendor.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
well, they finally acknowledged they have my book that I handed to them personally in September for the reholder. That was supposedly not going to take that long. So they finally acknowledged I have it. They finally matched my account with that. So that was good. Now we'll see how long. I mean, you're already talking 3 months before you even acknowledge you had it.
I don't know, man. I don't know. But
really, it's the lesser of two evils right now. You know, choose your poison, so to speak.
Well, I've always looked at it as the lesser of two evils because it takes time, no matter what, to do grading. However, it seems like they're getting fast on the 2-day and the expedited services.
I wonder why. It costs more. Well, and what I didn't realize when I went to Fan Expo, because I ran into a guy that was in a comic shop in Monroe, and he had been there at Dallas Fan Expo. That they had there. That was one of the cons that they actually did con grading at. So the Fan Expo is not that far from their home office, and so they took them over to home office. They got them graded and they brought them back, so you could pick them up that Sunday.
Yeah, that's how you get high grades and fast work.
Yep, and that's what he did. He got a bunch of books done there at the con.
Yeah. Well, I recently bought a. Well, I'll just show it to you right here. I bought this book recently, because if Starlin is there, you always want to wait till close to time before someone could cancel. So
Right.
if Starlin's still there, and or if the dream guest of Perez is there,
Yeah.
I plan on cracking this thing out and getting it signed. And I also have a raw one right here that's lesser grade that I would do the same thing on.
So I got Rubenstein and Starlin to sign that back 2 years ago, and at Louisville Comic Con or Galaxy Con. And so the one signature, I'm missing on that one.
Yeah.
And that's one book I would love to get him to sign, something.
Yeah. And Rubenstein was at Huntsville a few years ago.
Yeah.
But I wasn't thinking about all this stuff like I'm thinking about it now. So it never even dawned on me to get anything.
Yeah. Yeah. He's pretty, he gets around a lot as far as Rubenstein. He was at Dallas Fan Expo. I got him to sign a couple things there. Yeah, that's what we were talking about, Tony.
He wanted to do one thing where he could meet people in person, and the easiest thing for that to be is a convention. Mm-hmm. So I think he might try to do one more, but the question is when and which one.
Something close to his house. You're not going to get no more sketches by him, but
yeah,
I think he was already not doing sketches anymore anyway.
Yeah, he did the occasional remark, but that's pretty much it. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that would be nice. I mean, and you're talking about be a packed house, I would think.
Yeah.
If somebody promoted it right, for sure.
Yeah. But I can tell you right now, if CGC announces he's doing a signing there, I don't know what I'll send one or both of these, get that done, and then when it comes back, I don't know if you think it'd be worth it to pay that, crack it, then get Starlin to sign it, then grade it again, and then get Rubenstein later, or that'd be too much money, you think?
That'd be a lot more money than that book's worth, yeah.
Yeah.
But if it's going to remain in your PC, the question is what's worth to you.
Well, it wouldn't, but I'm also thinking of just advertising these for sale at the convention and be like, hey, get Starlin to sign it. You know how they do.
Right.
I think that might be a better route instead of me getting them signed, but I got them separated out just in case. I'll make that decision in April.
Game time. That'll be a game time decision.
Yeah.
Oh, let's go right here. So, Tony says a con that needs to come back is DC. Yeah, I mean, you're talking about a very liberal. And look, I heard a lot of folks were not happy with the lack of participation, if you will, of Emerald City Comic Con, because they really didn't have that many. I mean, Emerald City is a big con,
Yeah, but look at where it's at.
That's what I was getting at. I think it's really about where it's at was the problem with it.
If you try and have one of these big conventions in a super blue area,
yeah,
it's not going to be at the level that it once was. However, the conventions we're talking about are in red areas, and they'll be fine.
Yeah, and politics aside, that really has nothing to do with it as much as it is reality. Okay, yeah. That's the way it goes.
Yeah. So I DC probably won't come back unless they announce that they have a cure for COVID, and that's what I imagine. DC's it's freaking DC, man.
So Tony sent me this. It is Clan McDonald Comics, George Perez signing, $45. The final batch will be shipped to him January the 15th. So now let me drop this in the chat here. Hey, appreciate you, bub. Yeah, so I'm not familiar with this Clam McDonald comic place, but they've got this allowed additional 24 plus weeks for grading.
Yeah, I am familiar with them in the sense that I know the name is legit.
So this was released December the 7th. So this just came out.
Yeah. But I'm not doing anything like that. I'll do a CGC signing or CBCS signing. I might send in for that. Or if he's at a convention that I can hit up, I might do that. But I'm not going to send to a shop or anything, especially with that 24-week or whatever. Yeah, I'm not doing that.
Well, I was just looking at this. So you can get a signature Oni, or you can get a signature with COA. The COA costs $5. Or you can get it with the yellow witness grading. And so that's $90. So in thinking about that, with what I mentioned earlier, my Infinity Gauntlet one that is already signed by 2 of them.
CBCS will be grading, Tony said.
Yeah. So see, I could send that to them. And I've done this before with my New Mutants 1. So it'll show one as verified and the other ones as well. The one that's there, they'll be authenticated. The other 2 that are already on there will be verified. So they make that distinction on the yellow label for the people that makes a difference for.
I'm still not going to do that because I want something that if I were to send it off, I could have it back by April.
Well, yeah, because you're selling it. This is not a book that I'm selling. Yeah, I mean that makes sense for you with that. But yeah, I'm sending it because I want a George Perez signature with the other guys from Infinity Gauntlet 1.
Yeah, that would work for you.
That's not going to be a reality.
Yeah, I'm going to keep an eye out. But if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. I'm okay with it. I got a picture with a guy. I'm good.
Yeah, I saw that. He was all hugged up on you, but looking at all the pictures, he seems to be kind of a comedian there.
Yeah. Well, if you look at any pictures of him and females, he's even closer.
Well, so talking about that, so when I got back,
he's a goober. I love him, but he's also a dirty old man.
Yeah. So so when I got back into collecting comics, I was thinking about creators, that I'd really like to get signatures for, and his name came up. So I was looking to see where, I might could get a signature from him at. And of course, by then he had already said, hey, my last con, all that kind of stuff. I'm not really doing cons no more, but I had read somewhere where he was still doing, and I'm trying to remember the name of it, but me being naive did not understand what that con was about.
Are you talking about Fetish Con?
Yes.
You didn't know what fetish meant?
I knew what fetish meant, but Big
you
Will,
didn't know the fetish
comics. I'm not thinking about perverts. So silly me, I Google fetish con.
And you were like, whoa,
X out. So,
yeah.
But then I get to thinking, that dirty old guy.
Well, here's the thing. You would have been embarrassed because he doesn't do signatures at Fetish Con. The only place he would sign a comic would be at Dragon Con. That's Dragon Con, Fetish Con. Those are the only ones he went to after he retired. That's the only places you get it.
So what is he doing at Fetish Con, should I ask?
Probably fetishes. I don't know. I mean, you should see him. I remember going to a panel with him, and then when it was over, he said, okay, I'm here for pictures. And then all these hot chicks come up that were dressed like Starfire. He's like, oh, I need one with all my Corys. Come here. That's Starfire's real name. It's Corey Ander. He got this picture with it. And he was just happy with that one of them big old grins. And these girls with the tits out basically. And
yeah.
And then my buddy Mike tells me of a story when he was there and I wasn't getting his pictures and everything. And he noticed when females wanted the picture taken with them, he would get up with them and basically put his face on their boobs as he was hugging them.
Yeah.
And he said his handlers were nervous and they were afraid that he was going to get like in trouble for sexual harassment or something. Which he didn't, because I mean they wanted, they loved him, the art and everything. And it's just funny to me. He's a great guy. He's a goober. I like him, but he's also a dirty old man.
Yeah, it's I guess one of the perks of the job,
I guess.
Who would have thunk it, So who would have thunk it?
Yeah, Biggie.
You can have a comic book fetish. Well, yeah, kind of. But anyway, yeah. So right. So then that's when I said, well, I guess I'm never going to see, because I'm not going to Fetish Con. But yeah, it's
yeah. Too bad you didn't Google a little more. You could have went to Dragon Con and hit him.
Well, so when's the last time he was at Dragon? So I didn't get back into collecting until 2019.
Oh, well, then that would have been the last one, because Dragon Con canceled 2020.
Yep.
In 2021, they didn't have him. They didn't have a lot of people.
So that was kind of the deal there. But
oh, well, yeah. See, there you go. So you ain't been back a while.
Mm-mm.
I find you people weird.
What's that?
I never left.
Yeah,
I've been in since I got in.
Uh-huh.
And so you guys coming in, it's weird. For example, I was watching the auction, a Whodats auction the other night, and he had a lot of Silver Age X-Men, not like 1, 2, 12, like the 30s, the 40s, and the 50 issues.
Okay.
Like the featuring Magneto, featuring Ice, those issues.
Okay.
And he had them for sale. I misheard him. I thought he was selling the 4 of them that he had for $80, and I was like, "Hey, that's a decent deal." But no, he was selling them for $180, $45 a piece plus shipping. And I never got out, so that's weird to me that's what prices are at now, because Whodats doesn't overcharge, by an extreme or anything. So that means that's where they're at now, and I'm shocked. I mean, I price things based on what I bought them for. So if you go searching in all this stuff that I have priced out, like let me find a good one for you right here. It's,
hey Brian, how's it going?
Actually, no, they're not in there. But anyway, I have a one of those X-Men books, and I put $35 as the price, because I think that's top end, but apparently they're worth more than that. But with what I got in it, that's what I'll pay. So it's weird to me how the prices have just shot up so recently, and you guys are like, okay, that makes sense, and I'm over here like, that used to be $5.
Well, actually, so I started collecting again. My daughter, my youngest daughter, was born in September of 2019, so slightly before that, and then I started visiting cons in October or November. So, even then though, prices were not what they are today. And then the first part of 2020, it really didn't hit until COVID hit. So, first 3 months or so of 2020, prices were still relatively calm. So I was fortunate enough that a lot of the big books that I wanted, I had already gotten by the time they blew up.
Well, that's good. Yeah, okay, yeah, here it is. This is one of the exact books he had that he's going $45 on. And this is the copy I have.
Yeah.
It's issue 43. Used to be a throwaway issue, $5 or something.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I'm looking at it. I'm checking out the spine on it and everything. I'm looking at this thing. It's pretty sharp copy. That's what I have on it.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's actually a good deal, because I bought that book.
I know that is now, but when I was writing it on there, I was like, okay, there was a sticker on this thing that had $48 when it was sent to me, but that seems expensive. Maybe 25. Well, no, it's a pretty good copy. This is probably really high, but I'm going to put 35.
Yeah, and Brian brings up a good point, because the perception has to change, because I've left too much money on the table. So Brian actually sets up at shows and stuff. And his point is valid because there's a lot of times we lose on deals, right? We buy a book at the wrong time, it goes down, and we either need to sell it or we end up selling it for less than what we have in it. So you have to sell it for more or for what actually the market is bearing, meaning that there might be some books that you make a really, really nice profit on, but it balances out for those ones that you don't.
Yeah, like for example, this one, it apparently is a $45 book all day long.
Mm-hmm.
That's shocking to me. However, if I had priced it at the $20 or $25 I was thinking, I lost money essentially, even though I didn't really, that I could have got, which is I think kind of what he's saying. But luckily, I paid, with what I paid for it, this is going to be a profit. I don't take kindly to losing money, so I usually make sure I get a profit or break even at the worst. But yeah, man, these things, it shocked me. I look and check my prices when I price stuff, but still, some things it's like, whoa, I can't believe how the prices have changed.
Well, having said that, now that's a Silver Age X-Men. People are still largely speculating on when X-Men's going to hit. Yeah. All that kind of good stuff.
But, I mean, even the regular X-Men books, I saw a video of Skeleton Key Comics flipping through at C2E2, a local comic shop there.
Yeah.
And the prices on some of that stuff was like random issues of 80s Claremont X-Men, $10, $12, $14. And I'm like, that seems super expensive to me.
Right. Yeah, and it might be. I mean, the other thing too, some shops are a little bit better at is overpricing on stuff, knowing that people are going to come back and want to get a deal, right? So if people come back and say, "Hey, look, could you give me a deal?" and I say, "Okay, yeah, I'll give you 20% off." Well, they're happy still. You're happy still because you're still making money. But had you priced that just like, I don't know, 20%, then
yeah. Well, I always make sure I price. Good Lord, I swallowed that water wrong. I make sure I price to where I can give a discount of some kind if that's what's going to take to sell it.
Yeah. And so, yeah, Brian brings up a point with Cowboy Bebop. So he's waiting on the thing, but then when it hit with negative reviews, Jupiter's Legacy would be another example of that.
Yeah.
You do take that risk. And another one would be ASM 361. That book was really on the rise prior to Venom 2. Once Venom 2 was met with meh, that book has even faltered. And there are several big books that have faltered and lost value.
Pretty much everything from July of this year, that was like the high point. A lot of things have been going down. A few are going up, but most things are going down. Like I know my buddy Micah, he got a 361 and he got it signed, and then the price had dropped and he didn't like it. So what he did, one thing that's great for those of you that don't do that much buying and selling, remember what you have in the book and be okay to trade.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Because that's a way to make a lot of money too. It's like if I have $50 in this book and it's only worth $100 instead of the $200 I thought, well, I could trade it for an $80 book that I could get graded, and maybe it's worth the $200 graded.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Well, and CFAP talking about Daredevil. Yeah, Daredevil 1, I think, is probably for Marvel, is the most underrated Silver Age key. Number 1, right? Because you think about Hulk and X-Men and all those other ones. I mean, they're definitely higher than the Daredevil one.
Yeah, I almost bought one.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, at a convention this year or last year. And I didn't have the money, so it didn't matter. But, boy, the price changed on it now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you get out, know when to hold them, know when to fold them. That's what Sir Kenny used to say.
Yeah, I would rather have a comic book worth $10 that I sold for $8 to maybe buy something for $8 that I can sell for $12 than hold it and it just keep losing money and losing money.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's some books like let's say X-Men 1, I don't think it is, but let's say X-Men 1 was dropping in price or value.
The 90s X-Men one.
No, the X-Men Silver Age, 1963.
Yeah, I know, but I was just saying maybe to help you out, the 90s X-Men one, let's say it's dropping in price.
Well, you know that it's eventually going to come back. So like with the 90s X-Men one, those books are still worth $5-10, which is surprising as many as them are out there. But you know, like with a big Silver Age key like that on a big character, there's really not a lot of speculation with that. It's going to go up. It's going to go down.
What's weird is nowadays you get a 9.8 of an X-Men 1 from the 90s, Jim Lee.
Mm-hmm.
That's over $100 book. And I can't believe that.
Yeah, on a 9.8, yeah, especially if you can get them to sign it, it'll bump it up even more.
I just cannot believe that. Like this book I've been holding up. I can't believe how much money this thing is worth in a 9.8.
Well, no, I'm actually on the opposite side of that. I'm surprised it's not worth more because leading up to the movies, that book popped even more, and it's kind of fell down, but it's still a nice book. Brian says Journey into Mystery 85, most undervet. Yeah, I mean that, and you would think as much as Thor's been used in the MCU that there would actually be, a lot with that. But it's not a number one. And he's not in his own title, and which might be some of the reason for that.
Well, 85 isn't his first appearance. That's 83.
Oh, what's 5?
85 something else.
Oh, okay. Is that the first Loki?
I think it is. I'm not sure. Remind us what that key is, Brian.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. 83.
But what you're saying, though, does hold a point on most characters. If it's not a number one, if it's not their named titled series, it can affect the price. Yeah, it is Loki.
Okay. Yeah, well, and so the same thing I said holds true. Well, it's not his title, but I mean Loki's been used how often in the MCU?
And I don't think it's not the best cover either. Sometimes that would matter. Like 83's cover is a classic Kirby. So is 85, but it's nowhere near. It doesn't hold a candle to 83.
Well, yeah, I mean, so you got a whole 180, 181 thing, right?
Yeah.
Or 181, 181 or versus 180 because 181's the better cover. It's got Wolverine on it.
It's amazing cover. 180 decent cover too, but it doesn't hold a candle. And yeah. Plus, Loki appears on the cover of 85, but he's like on that tower or something. So he's like really small.
Yeah,
you can't make him out on it. It's not a good first appearance cover.
Yeah.
And I think that may make it undervalued, but it also may be what keeps it undervalued too. It may never see what the value you see in it being Loki's first appearance because of the cover. Sometimes that happens too.
Well, and so think about, okay, if in the late 90s, early 2000s, if some of the books that we have now that were similarly aged, meaning that a book that was, say, 5 years old back then versus a book that's only 5 years old today, if back then we had some of the books going for what they're going for today, man, we'd think we were in high cotton. But this market has gotten us spoiled to thinking, man, I can buy a book and turn right around and make 400 or 500 times my money, right? Think about a Thor 4 and 5, which is the first cameo of Black Winter, and five being the big one. That book in a 9.8 was going for $300.
Yeah.
And then when 6 or 7 came out, whenever it was that he got killed off, that book tanked.
Yeah,
but it's still like almost $100 book.
Yeah, but that is the superpower of never having left the hobby and coming back in. Is that I've seen this before,
right?
Not on this scale, and I know, okay, that is not what the price should be of that book.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of the guys that have come back in, they don't have that. So I think that helps me out to where I don't have the money I have in these books that I only intend to sell. I don't intend to keep. I'm okay.
Yeah, and that is a great point because a lot of us got rid of our books from back in the day. So now we're buying them to recreate that nostalgia or whatever. So it is driving up the price because it's supply and demand. And then other people see all these books flying off, and so they buy them too.
Yeah.
Just for FOMO.
Yeah, perfect example is that Turtle Adventures 1.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's one that's going to stay now that it's here and made an impact because it is a key, somewhat major key for the Turtles, and it is a number one. And you know, I think it's one that'll stay pretty good as long as you don't put too much money into it to get it. I think it'll be a valuable book later. Maybe not like it is now, but it will be something later.
Well, and yeah, that's true. It's not going to be to the level because although there are some similarities, we don't have the print runs that we used to have.
Yeah.
With the internet and being able to sell stuff in a much broader base than what you used to be able to sell.
The crash in the 90s hurt the publishers. The crash today will make the publishers, you know, they'll know it's coming because we order the books.
Mm-hmm.
If we don't order the books, they're not going to print them. You know, so we don't have to worry about that. So a crash today won't affect the publishers that much. And as far as the books themselves, the prices will decrease to a more reasonable number. That's the worst case scenario if the market crashes today. It's not like in the 90s.
Right. Yeah, well, yeah, the print run, I mean, it's supply and demand. I mean, so although less people are buying comics to read it, you have a broader base of people because of the cinematic universes, because of the internet, and then you have less books out there available to get. So, and then grading adds a whole new flavor to everything too. That wasn't there back in the 90s.
I think the perfect example is you have a book like Wolverine #1, the not the limited series, his ongoing series, the Buscema cover, the black cover #1, that one. In a 9.8, the max value that should ever have is like $350, $400. That's the max that it should be because of how many were printed, how many are graded, and all that kind of good stuff. The normal price of it should be about $150, but now I would probably be willing to say normal price is probably around $250. But if you look at the pricing of it now, it's like an $800-900 book in a 90. So I think that if there is a crash now, all it'll do is that will drop down to the reasonable, like maybe $250 for the 90.
Yeah. Playing with these deals here. Yeah, exactly right.
ADD.
Oh, look, a squirrel. So you're lining things up. I mean, it's only 5 months away. It'll be here before you know it, as far as Huntsville. So are you kind of in a buying mode? I mean, you checking the shops out, trying to sweep up any deals you can get?
No, I've got plenty to bring.
Oh, okay.
I also don't have any free cash at the moment. I'm waiting for CBCS to finally put my stuff from submitted into processing so that they will actually charge me. And then I'm waiting to see, I sent off my ASM 41 purple to CGC and the hopes that they can take the color touch off. And hopefully that will work. And if that works, I'll know that's another charge that'll be coming out. So I'm in a waiting mode right now with the cash I have in the account to see, you know, when these things hit and if they're going to be able to work. As far as the other stuff, I have a few things for sale now that I'll get some free cash ready because I'm going to be a person that walks around the convention as well part of the time. I would imagine you and I will every now and then 2 hours will be your time to do whatever, and then maybe 2 hours will be my time to do whatever. But I've got plenty of stuff here. Got some stuff I want to sign. Got some stuff to sell. So we'll see what happens.
Well, yeah. So CBCS on that order that they've had since July. I was looking back because I done forgot. I mean, it's 20 books, but I done forgot what they were. I got a New Mutants 98 newsstand copy.
Oh, man.
Got Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic number 9. That's the first Darth Revan. Then we've got Incredible Hulk 340, signed by Peter David. Magnus the Robot Fighter number 1, gold key version. See, Star Wars Legacy number 16, that's a newsstand, and then Legacy 3 is the second print, and I'm thinking that's a newsstand as well. So those are actually ones that I actually still had when I got back in. I had one long box, and those were books I picked up off the Barnes and Noble, so they're listed as newsstands. Werewolf by Night 33, that's the third appearance of Moon Knight. Darkhawk number 1. Tech 475, and it has a signature on it. Incredible Hulk 449 has a signature. That's going to be Peter David's signature there. Star Wars 16. I think that's the first Valance, the guy that's in the Bounty Hunters thing. Then you got Star Wars 42 and Star Wars 68. Both of those are newsstands. Knights of the Old Republic 7. Newsstand edition. That Age of the Republic General Grievous, it's signed by Matt Woods, the voice of General Grievous. Some more later printings, newsstand editions of Star Wars Legacy, and then that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1 that you showed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got my direct editions there. My newsstand one's here. So
I want to hold on that news to get it signed.
Yeah, that's a great point. Because, well, see, I bought that direct off a YouTube auction, and then probably a couple weeks later, and I had sent it off. And then after I had sent it off, I was down in Houdat's territory down there at Crescent City, and that newsstand was up on the wall.
Hey, how much did you buy your direct copy for on an auction?
Well, let me go to that handy dandy CLZ app. Let's see here. Adventures. All right. This is that's the newsstand. Direct copy. I hesitate to say because I probably bought it too high.
Well, I'm curious because I know what I paid for this one.
$184.
$184. I paid $55.
Yeah, exactly. So, see, in my newsstand copy, I paid $50 for it.
Wow. Yeah, see, mine was Carson Woodard has been selling stuff.
Yeah.
C. Woodard. And for some reason, everybody was passing up this one. And I don't know why. And he was wanting $75 for it. And I asked him for a discount, and he gave it to me. So I was able to get it for $55. And I'm looking at it, and dude, press and clean. 9.6.
Yeah.
People missing out, man. And see, I've got some stuff right here in this box. I got New Mutants 87, the X-Men 268, the J.C. Penney variant, and Wolverine 1 from 88. But I don't have the cash right now to send these to the presser and then send it on to CBCS. So for right now, I'm having to hold off. But those will be a 2-day modern deal whenever I send them.
So let's see what we got right here. Yeah, that X23 that I'm getting reholder. I was tempted to have them press it, but I said it's going to take longer, which I really shouldn't have thought that way because it wasn't a book I was going to turn right around and resell or nothing. But it's that first X23 NYX.
Yeah, I need to get me one of them.
and but it's signed by Stan Lee, Chris Kyle, Joe Quesada,
Wow.
and one other person.
What? I don't understand people getting Stan Lee to sign crap like that.
I don't know, but regardless, it was already signed by him. So, but it had that ugly pink label on it, and you know how the old CBCS cases you could do this with, and it just was.
Yeah, when they had the clips and all, but yeah, they had a much better case now.
And they're shinier, you know, they kind of get like real foggy looking almost. The old ones did, but
yeah, they were red, by the way.
That's pink.
That's red.
You're colorblind. That's pink.
You're colorblind. That's red.
Let me know in the chat. Do y'all think that was a pink or a red label? So I've had this conversation with Bubs. Bubs, of course, he's not in the chat no more, but he totally agrees that was a pink label. So,
yeah.
So I messaged that Clan McDonald Comics to see if they would be willing to submit that, and if I sent that in for George Perez.
And they said?
No, they haven't messaged me back yet.
Oh, you're just saying you messaged. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that reminds me. Don't ask me why, but that reminds me. I got to put these 3 books with my other books, but Jack B's box let me get a few Lois Lanes from a Lois Lane run I'm doing.
Yeah. Got
some really cool ones here, man. This is her fighting the depowered Wonder Woman. This is issue 93. Pretty cool.
Look at Superman just sitting back watching the cat fight.
Yeah. This one's Rose and Thorn is in here. And that, by the way, that old woman is supposed to be Lois. So something's going on there, but that looks kind of cool. And then right here we got some. This is Neil Adams. Super cool looking.
Have you got the Curious Black issue?
No, that one I'm missing. I got the issue preceding it, and I've got 70, which is the Catwoman one. So the only big ones I'm missing are the Curious Black and number 1 and number 2 are the only other ones that are super expensive.
Talking about that first Silver Age Catwoman. That was one you put up for sale, and John's Comics with Kids beat me to it.
Oh yeah, the graded slab one. Yeah, I got. I'm talking about a raw one I have.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got it. I bought it from a DS for like I think $20-30 or something, and because he thought it was a really beat up copy, and then I got it pressed and cleaned and sent it in, and sure enough, it came back at 2.5, which wasn't. Price is all right on a 2.5. I think I made a little money.
Well, one of the things that you do, and I've seen other YouTubers do it, but I've heard other podcasters do it, and basically they just put out there, hey, this is what I made, just I guess with transparency, and you do that same thing with your auctions.
Yeah, but I don't go through and say this person bought this from me, and I paid this, and I made that. I don't go through line by line though.
Well, and probably for the same reason that when I buy books to resell, I don't show them on my YouTube channel or talk about the price I paid, because people get kind of funny about that. I mean, I don't care.
Shouldn't.
No,
if you like the price on the book, it shouldn't matter if I bought it for 20 cents.
Yeah, I mean, if you buy it from a shop and you don't think nothing about what they paid for it, if they found it on the street corner, you didn't find it on the street corner. So what does it matter?
Yeah. As long as you're okay with the price you pay, it shouldn't matter.
And obviously you are if you spent the money on it. So, but some people can get weird about that. So
I know it. That's why I only do it for people I know don't care. Like JB is the person I usually have on when I do that. I call it the after action report. You can go through my channel for anyone that's curious. And if you see an after action report, it's me talking about how good or bad I did on the auction that I recently did before it. And this last one, I did pretty good, considering I paid, I think, $59 for a Mickey Mouse Delato variant of Disney Comics and Stories. And it came back at $9.9, so I was able to sell it for, I think, like $350 to JB.
Right. Yeah. So
And he's okay with me telling that because, you know, you don't send stuff in thinking it's a 9.8. You hope for a 9.8. You don't think you're going to get a 9.9. I do, and that comes with a premium because it's a 9.9 and they're rare. So, I mean, JB understands. He's okay with it. But some people, for some reason, they get weird about that. And I did let everyone know I bought the Strange Academy stuff when it came out, and I ordered them. So I paid $5 for those, and then grading and everything. It was $29 rounded up that I paid for every one of those slabs.
Yeah.
And, I made you guys bid. I started it at $1.
Right.
I paid $29. I started everything at $1. It's y'all's fault that I made money. I blame you.
Well, and to be perfectly honest, every book I bought, well, almost every book I bought from you, that Hulk book I'm keeping, and I might be keeping that Batman slab, but the rest of it I've just bought to resell myself. So if you make a little, I make a little, and somebody else still finds it as a price that they're willing to part with those certificates of appreciation, I'm okay with that. Right?
You did a great job. One of them I barely made any money on. Like I told y'all, rounding up, I paid $29 for each of them. I think one of them you bought for $31.
Yeah, the first one I think because then that's when John and who was the other person that was bidding? No, it was somebody else was bidding those Strange Academies up. He ended up getting one too.
Well, Simon R.
Yeah, that's who it was. So because some of my bids actually came after the inline, where I was going to bid them up higher, and so I missed it. But but this goes back to the point we made earlier, and that was that hey, you've got to just sell it for whatever the market's going to sell it for. Because like on that Hulk book, I remember you telling JB that, hey, I actually lost money on that Hulk book that I bought from you, that Bernie Wrightson cover. But that's fine because overall you made money. And there are going to be books that you are going to lose money on for whatever reason. You started out too low, whatever.
Yeah, I paid $10 for it. And then once I got it home, I realized I may have overpaid. And you bid, I think, $5 for it. So I lost half my money on that one, but other things made up for it.
Yeah, right.
Like that 9.9 to JP.
Right. Yeah, and so sometimes you hit lucky with that 9.9 type deal. I bought Batman.
I mean, it's like Brian Wells there. He says, but that's not the case. I have sold raw copies for over $120 now. Wolverine #1, and that's kind of what I'm saying now. I don't think that's going to be tenable. Whenever this bubble bursts, and it will burst at some point, that book's one that's definitely probably going to go down. But right now, it's worth $120 raw. Sell it for $120 raw. Doesn't matter if you paid $10 for it.
What's going on, Starscream? One of the channel members. Appreciate you for stopping by. Yeah, you know, and it's also your tolerance. Or sometimes you end up needing money for something else, and it's like, okay, I'd rather keep it for a little bit longer, but I need to go ahead and sell it.
I would much rather Brian to have bought that at $10, trying to sell it for $120, and me asking for a discount, than him spending $50 on it, trying to get $65 out of it, and me asking for a discount.
Yeah, because almost everybody asks for a discount.
Yeah.
So that Clan McDonald's has actually already messaged me back and said, yes, I could do that. They said signature authentication is $25 each seat plus the $45 grading fee. So it says 45 plus 2 SIGs. That doesn't make any sense. I mean, how they're not they can't.
I think verification is the one where they have
it's not them charging me to verify, it's CBCS charging
to
verify.
CBCS. But if you've already got it in a CBCS slab,
it's not in there.
Oh, well then never mind. Yeah, that would be CBCS.
Yeah, I bought it at Louisville Comic Con I got them signed there. Yeah,
$25 for the first SIG and then $15 for each additional that is not witnessed. So that's at least $40 you got to spend for 2 signatures.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes more sense because that I was thinking that they were charging me to witness the signature, and I'm like, no, you can't do that. But that's not that. Rob's Comics, what's going on? One of the foreign collectors in the community. What is going on with you, good sir? So that's cool. So it says be $95, and I mean that's all in. So to me, that's not that bad. Now, if I was
That's
turning
cheap
around,
compared to CGC because A, they don't verify anything, but even if they did, it'd be about 95 for the standard signature, then the extra bit. So yeah.
well, and then if I did end up wanting to sell it for whatever reason later on, I'd have that hated green label, and
Yeah.
people don't want to buy it just because it's got the green label. I'd be better off selling it raw than with that green label.
Yeah, well, I don't like the green label for other reasons. First off, it's qualified. That means there's something wrong, but if we pretend it's not there, this is the grade. That's what that means. But
That's
for
a good point.
signatures, that's a different story. They should be blue label and downgraded for however much.
Yeah.
I don't think they should allow green label. To me, that's like a backdoor SIG authentication,
Yeah.
which they shouldn't do. So I really despise the green label for signatures.
Well, and they really pick and choose sometimes too, because if you look at like they know that back in the day that a lot of these older Turtle books have both Peter Laird's and Kevin Eastman's signatures on the inside. If I sent the one I got of TMNT 3, they won't green label that one. They'll give it a blue label and mention that their names are written on the inside of the book.
Mm-hmm.
And so some older books they'll do that with, like with Jack Kirby. I've seen one that says Jack Kirby's written on the first page, or like some of the like the pedigree books. I forget which one it is, but one of the pedigree books, the guy always put his name on them. And
there's always some identifier for the pedigrees.
Yeah, I thought about getting. I don't have any pedigree books myself, but I was looking. You do?
No, I said neither do I.
Oh, okay. But I thought it'd be interesting if I, had a choice and it was same book and near the same price.
I don't care about pedigree. However, those gold labels they do now for the pedigrees, those look nice.
Well, to me, and it's the same thing. That's why I get a lot of these, the cover art people do and stuff, because they're essentially one of a kind. But to me, it's like the history with the book, and that's one of the reasons why I like foreign books. Somebody, it's Steve, Interglobal Comics, posted this Luke Cage #1 that was printed in South Africa. Well, the interesting thing about that is it's printed at the same time South Africa is still with the apartheid.
Huh.
So you have a black superhero that printed at the same time that, everything's still separate over there. And so it's just the story behind the book is as fun to me a lot of times than the book itself.
There's different books that I like that are like that, like the Christian Spire books, like The Girl That Loved the Swastika and the Switchblade and the Cross. All those are kind of cool for the same reason, the story behind them.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, with the foreigns, like the foreign king size Hulk one with the actual Steranko face on Hulk, as opposed to the Maurice Severin one, or the story of you getting that book and getting it signed, meeting the creator. There's a lot with that. So
have you got that signed by Steranko?
No, I got.
Dude, I'm fairly certain that he is a regular at Heroes Con.
Yeah,
you should definitely try and get to Heroes Con.
Yeah, I want one. I've got a copy of one, right? But when I met Steranko, I did not have that book yet, and so I got him to sign that cover he did for Detective 1000. I got him to sign the Polaris cover where the X-Men logo was changed, right? But and
did
a couple
you ask
other
him about the logo?
He told me, you know.
He mentioned, okay, he's one of those guys. I figured he was.
And but the funny thing about Steranko is just, and he told me the same thing because he asked me, and this was the great thing about meeting Steranko, was that he asked me, he said, "So you're a comic guy." He said, "What all cons have you been to?" And we just he's just sitting there talking to me. And he says, "Look, if you're a comic guy, you need to go to Heroes Con. It's a great con for you to be at." And of course, I hear different stories while I'm in line, him telling everybody else. So
yeah. Well, I have already got my hotel booked. I've already got my tickets bought. I am ready for Heroes Con. And man, we're actually staying. We booked that thing so early. Man, we are staying at the Hilton Hotel with the sky bridge leading to the actual place. So I won't even have to drive nowhere unless we just want to go out to eat or something. So I am going to have me a time at the Heroes Con. So yeah, you need to come to Heroes Con. You can stop by the hotel. We'll talk.
Rob, I dropped that post that he did with that book, that Luke Cage book. But anyway, so yeah, okay. So so when's Heroes Con?
It is in June or July, bottom of the month.
Okay. Yeah, because pretty soon, I think I'm going to do a stream, and you're more than welcome to jump on with it. I'm going to be doing a show coming up, reviewing my goal list for 2021 and how well I did and what my 2022 goals are going to be for books. But I'm also going to be doing one for cons.
Yeah.
Now that people are kind of getting back in this rhythm and cons are being set up and you can see who's going to be where. Like I plan to go to Pensacon in February. I want to get back to the point to where I'm going to a con a month, which was where I was at prior to COVID. And I had all these great well out plans. If you remember BLC and you were on I don't know if I was on y'all's or y'all were here, but either way,
we were together talking about stuff.
Yeah. And I said, yeah, I've got all these cons planned out. And then of course, COVID kicked everybody in the nuts, and there you go. But I also dropped Big Will's channel in the chat there. So if anybody is not familiar with Big Will, you can go check out and see that video that at least that he done regarding the aftermarket report.
February 18th through the 20th, Pensacons. And they've already got a bunch of guest lists. Let's see.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to go through till I find someone that sounds familiar. Well, Joey Fatone's always familiar, but
I'm not going
for him as the guy.
I'm not going for Joey. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Let's see. I mean, I'm noticing some famous people that hadn't got to anyone comic book related. Oh, Nana Visitor. She'd be cool. She's Star Trek. And George Takei is going to be. Hey, Mike Grell. There we go. Mike Grell. Holy crap. Michael Rupert. Sean Gunn. Got some wrestlers here. I see some cool people, but it's getting a little iffy on the.
So the guy.
There's not that many.
Yeah. So the guy that did the voice for Beast in the X-Men animated series. You see him there.
Lou Ferrigno. Amy Jo Johnson.
Yeah, Pink Ranger.
But yeah, I don't see anyone really comic booky there at all. That's actually kind of sad for a.
Well, so I will say this about Pensacon. So I went last year. They had a lot of comic books. Okay, so there was a lot of vendors there. That was a big plus. They do have a lot of celebrities there. They have them generally on a floor away from all the comic book stuff, which is another benefit because then the people that do that kind of thing, they go do their stuff somewhere else. It's not, where we're at. They were kind of light on the comic creator side. Pat Broderick and several other folks were there. But I got signatures there. But having said that, there were people that were there that were not necessarily comic book related, but I was still interested in seeing.
Yeah, well, there's people here that aren't comic related, really, but I'm interested in seeing. I mean, they got looks like 4 or 5 Power Rangers.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be cool, just for childhood. There's some Star Trek people. That'd be cool. There's Michael Rooker, Sean Gunn from the big movies. They'd be good. But hello.
Hi, I'm Lisa calling you from Delaware BPO. How are you doing today?
Extend your car warranty. What's going on, Edwin Price?
But anyway, the only comic person that jumps out at me is Mike Grell. That's like the only guy they have.
Yeah. And at this point in his career, he's not necessarily. I mean, like Pat Broderick. I mean, he's worked on a lot of good stuff, but not a lot.
His thing was Green Arrow back in the early '80s, and that's pretty much it.
So Edwin Price is actually in North Carolina, and so he said he's been setting up for Heroes Con for 30 plus years. I know he's a vendor. You'll catch him on Strictly Comics' some of his auctions and others. Michael Gallant, what's going on?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I do remember seeing something about that. Yeah, that's kind of neat. So if I would probably, because I've got the Wolverine from the X-Men animated sign, I'd like to get the Rogue and Gambit one signed. Of course, I think Cyclops, the guy, died, but the Beast one would probably be pretty cool too.
So here are the Pensacon prices. That actually isn't bad.
Yeah, I just went for Saturday, and I mean and I got everything I needed done. Like I said, it was super busy, but I did not. So I did not get a sketch there. There was nobody that I really wanted to get a sketch cover there, which is something I try to do every con, is to get one sketch cover done by somebody.
Well, I got. Yeah, it's buried under this stuff, but I have my one thing I do, where I have this folio that's white made for sketches, and I like to get sketches done on it. I got plenty of space, so depending on price, I'll get some sketches done.
Yeah,
but yeah, I'm definitely going to be at Heroes Con, Edwin, 2022. So don't know if I'll see you there, but I will definitely be at Pensacon.
Yeah, well, he'll be a vendor, so you'll more than likely see him.
Oh, okay.
You'll probably walk by his booth. I
don't know what I'm going to do at Heroes Con, man. They haven't even released, unless Edwin knows. I don't think they've even released their guest list yet. I mean, it's like 6-7 months away. So yeah, but I still like to know. I want to know a year before, which is impossible. But I want to know all the guests as soon as possible. So I'm kind of itching to find out who's going to be there, to figure out what books I need and figure out my game plan.
So Starscream, to answer your question, between tickets, lodging, signatures, and books, I spent about $1,000. So, but
you try to finagle it in with work whenever you can, though, right?
Yeah. So, like with Huntsville, the company, pays for a couple of days of me being there, and of course my gas being there. So, if I could, well, when I went to GalaxyCon, I went up there on the company's dime on the flights, so that worked out really good. It doesn't always work out that way, but if it does, to your, I guess, point, it allows me to be able to spend my money on other things, such as books, signatures, etc. So, and that was one of the other things that I one of the reasons why I didn't go to C2E2, aside from being work all this week and didn't want to be gone for the weekend, was by the time I would have booked plane tickets, it cost me $1,000 just to get there, flights. I mean, that's not counting the hotel or books and everything else that I was going to get. So I was like, I think I'm going to give a pass. So that was Rob trying to call you there, Big Will, about your car warranty.
Actually, I don't know where that was, but it was in some other state. But it was a recording because they said, "How are you?" And then a few seconds later, "That's great."
Yeah, they just pause, to make you think that it's somebody for real. Yeah, now, I will tell anybody that's going to go to Pensacon, voice of experience here, did very little planning, because I assumed, having just come out of the whole COVID era when we were getting hotels dirt cheap, nobody was traveling, all that kind of stuff, that I said, I'll just get a hotel when I'm down there. No. So I almost had to stay. I drove down there late Friday night because I had something going on. So I left there, drove down there Friday night, intending to get a hotel, and no, negatory. So I finally worked my way in. Was it a Super 8, I think, or something that I normally wouldn't stay at? But yeah, and it was expensive too. So a lot more planning will be going into the next deal.
Well, hey, do you have any spare hanging racks or anything?
Yep, and meeting great artists and writers. So
I don't even know what you call those, man. What do you even call those? The thing, the magazine rack things you.
Well, what I've seen people do, they're like laundromat racks, or when that you put the soap and suds on, like this way, they're wire racks, but then they use them like this to put stuff on. And that's what I was thinking about getting, is some of those. And then you get the PVC pipe that you can put the stuff together to make a little stand up there like that.
As long as it does a good job.
Yeah, well, I thought Heroes Con was they canceled this year, but
they canceled the main Heroes Con this year, but they did do like a miniature version. And then last year, I don't think they did anything. And then 2022 is supposed to be full blast. And even if something happens, I think most of America is tired of all this shutdown crap. Some of it's maybe needed. Most of it probably isn't. And I think we're going to be having conventions next year no matter what.
Yeah, so I know y'all probably can't see that right there, but
you can make it larger if you go to the up right of your browser.
Up right of my browser?
Yeah, the 3 dots it should have enlarge. You can.
Yeah, maybe there. What's going on, Jay Hood? I just mentioned you earlier showing that book that I got that was the Creed and the TMNT. Squatchy Comics, what is going on? Stevie B, I just got his package in today.
Yeah.
So we got Chris Bacalo.
Before that, those are the dates. We now know the dates. It's July, or you scroll down.
June. Yeah, June.
Yeah, June 24th through the 26th, and scroll down a little bit more, and it's their 40th anniversary. So I expect a big blowout there because they're celebrating 40 years.
Yeah. So John Beatty, he's
excellent.
Inked a bunch of stuff. Tom DeFalco, who is one of the editors. Ron Friend, Larry Hama, Bob McLeod, which I've met several times. If you see a name that
Don Rosa was always great because he's Don Rosa. Joe Staton is great, especially for his DC work, Green Lantern and stuff. And Brian Stelfreeze is I don't care for anything, but I know he's good. Yeah, there's multiple people out there, and I imagine closer to time they'll get the greater names too.
Yeah, you're right. They're probably still working on finalizing a lot of stuff. So
Yeah, I imagine Neil Adams. I'm hoping, and Steranko. I'm hoping Steranko.
yeah, because when I went and and got Steranko to sign, hey, you're not supposed to tell off on your age there. Yeah, so when I went and got him to sign that stuff, I had the X-Men book with Polaris on the cover. I had the book after that. So he did 3 of them. He did the book before that too. So that one, the guy bought it from eBay and he waited to mail it, and I didn't get it till in the mail until the day of the con. So I got it when I got back home. It was in my mailbox. So so that really sucked. I wanted all 3 of them. And so I would get him to sign that one. I would get him to sign the king size Hulk one for sure as well.
Yeah, man. If you have it set up, go ahead and get your tickets. Go ahead and get your hotel or whatever you're doing for Heroes Con. And then there's enough guests there that we just mentioned to make it eventful, but they'll probably have 100 more.
Well, and then the other thing, and I think Edwin mentioned this earlier, was that if you're in the hunt for books, I've always heard that Heroes Con is a great con for that, right? So Gil Kane, yeah, there you go. Joe's in it.
Yeah, I got to meet Roy Thomas at Dragon Con. That was fun.
Yeah, and we were talking about George Perez earlier, and me sending that in to get him to sign that Infinity Gauntlet 1. I might act because I just bought the first appearance of Deathstroke, and then the Origin Deathstroke, which first appearance of Nightwing. I just bought those 2. So, those would be 2 other ones I'd love to get him to sign.
Definitely.
I just thought about that.
Yeah.
But I could get those signed and not worry about CBCS because I'd love to get Marv Wolfman to sign them too. And then I could just CBCS it if I got the 2 together, right? So,
you know what's sad? I already sold all my Teen Titans books, so I have nothing left. At one point, I had 3 graded number 2s. And one of them was double signed by Perez and Wolfman, and I got them signed both.
Wow. So, but in talking about that, I really like the inner, getting meeting the person and talking with them and all that kind of stuff, as opposed to these signings. The only reason I did these signings with Roy Thomas was because Roy Thomas is how old? And I'm thinking, how many more times am I going to have a chance to meet him? So
hopefully he'll be at Heroes Con. I'm just going to assume everyone's at Heroes Con and be disappointed when they don't show up.
But I've heard that Roy Thomas is an encyclopedia of knowledge because he was a younger guy when Stan Lee and all those people were.
I was just about to look. He's
82 is what Edwin
82.
said. So. He was a young guy when all those people were still around, and so he was just soaked everything up as a sponge. And I was surprised when I went to get ready for the Roy Thomas signing. Of course, he's a co-creator of Wolverine, Iron Fist. He wrote Conan for Marvel. There's just so much that he was in charge of or had his hands in over the years.
And you wrote a lot of the X-Men.
Yeah, I've got a book, one of those the one that says Meccano Lives. I've got that one signed by Roy Thomas. I bought it already signed.
Yeah. These are all the magazines that I'm bringing. Well, yeah, I happen to have this sitting right beside me. Finally got it in.
Yeah. Let's see where you got that signature placement. So, okay, you got it right there. What color is that pen?
It's black.
Black.
I didn't choose or say where. That's where they chose.
You sent it in a window.
Yeah, I
envelope,
sent it
didn't
in I just cut the whole window bag.
you? Oh, okay.
But yeah, decent grade, signed by Roy Thomas.
Yeah, I asked he did. He signed it with a gold pen. I'm looking over here at mine now, trying to.
Yeah, probably. I don't like to. I normally don't specify because I really don't care. But
well, some books it makes a big difference.
Yeah, I was thinking back, this would have been better in a different color.
Well, but that one's not a bad placement
up in here.
Yeah, that's not a bad placement though. I mean, it's on that white, so it does stand out, but it don't detract from the cover. I've seen some, they'll sign black on a black cover, and it's like,
yeah,
why? So
shout out to CCS. They did a good job cleaning this book from this stuff that was on it right here. I mean, they cleaned it up to the point of where they would have to actually take off book to clean it even more.
Well, is that some mildew or something?
It's an or something, but they cleaned it up enough. I still got a 6.0, so I'm happy.
So, if you, based on the way that market, oh yeah, I mean, and think about what's going on, Bobby Delagato. We got Roy was the youngest guy in the bullpen, starting in 1965. He knew all the greats, Kirby, Ditko, and that's definitely cool.
What were you going to say?
Oh, well, based on what you paid for that book, and based on where the market is currently, you still make a little money on it?
Well, I got to thinking, I actually did not. This is how old that book is before I wrote things down.
Oh,
so
no.
I have a question mark and a 0 in the how much I paid for it because I don't remember. I think I paid like $80 for it, but I know I paid less than 100, but I'm honestly not sure. It cost $111 to get that done, the press clean and the signature and all that. So let's say it was $100. That's $211. I could sell it for, I don't know how much the signature bumps it up, but somewhere between $300 and $350 is what I could probably sell it for.
Oh wow. Well,
you know me, I don't lose money. I don't lose money. I ain't doing that.
Yeah. Well, so I had in talking about him being the youngest guy in the bullpen, Alan Bellman, which I've mentioned this before. Alan Bellman, was a guy that worked at Timely, and I met him at GalaxyCon. Let's see, he died in February. I met him in November, so that previous year. So 4 months. So he did this sketch of Captain America and Hitler for me, and I mean, just a spry old guy. He's just a spry old guy and real nice to talk to, and I'm glad I was able to meet him and get to talk to him. But yeah, he was a younger guy, but he was there during Timely's deal. So yeah, and like I said, Bobby, normally I wouldn't if all things being equal, but when you're talking about some of these creators and then the current atmosphere, I think we're getting better as far as people wanting to venture out and do things like they used to. But last year, I mean, and Roy Thomas is 82 years old, and then now you have Perez, who's got terminal cancer. So that's going to be your last shot at it. I mean, you could buy. I got a book where the one where Tim Drake wears the Robin costume for the first time, and it's signed by George Perez. It's graded already. I've got that one, but I mean, there's just he did a lot of great stuff,
Yeah. I just wish I hadn't already sold all my stuff, but I did, and I got a good price, so I made a profit. I guess that's good. I guess.
Well, that's better than the alternative.
Yeah.
Losing money.
But as of right now, I'm probably going to wait till April and just bring this sign thing there. But if someone were to offer me $350, I'll just tell you now, sold.
Sold. Yep. So yeah, you can get a advance. Are you staying there all 3 days?
Oh yeah, if I go to a convention, I'm going to the convention. I'm not just going to pop in and say, "Hey." I'm staying the whole time. Me and my buddy Mike already got the hotel for it and everything. I think we might even stay an extra day just so we can sleep in after the convention's over. But yeah, we're going all 3 days, buddy.
Yeah, so you can get an advance pass right now.
$50.
Yep. And
It's also one of the best priced conventions for how big it is, too.
Right, exactly. That's what I was fixed to say.
So yeah, we've got our stuff. We're good to go. I think I have it. I have archived. I think my my thing that says, "Hey, you got your stuff."
Yeah, you might want to do that so you don't lose it. Yeah, because if I don't, that's what happens with my important emails. Yeah. Well, and so Bob Powell. Well, like with me, just getting back into comics, people that I would have met based on characters I like, right? Is Lynn Wine, Herb Trimpe, people like that. But unfortunately, they died.
Actually, I don't think I have my tickets yet. I probably should check that out and buy them.
I got the hotel, but
yeah, it doesn't look like I got it right here, man. So I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah, so those would have been nice ones to meet. Obviously, Kirby. I mean, that goes without saying.
Yeah, Kirby.
So that's one of the benefit that you were mentioning earlier. People that never got out of the industry or never got out of the hobby. That is another one of the benefits, right? Because you had all the chances in the world to meet a lot of those folks if you visited the con scene.
Yeah, I really wish I had started going to conventions earlier and done more. Because there were a few years where I never went to any, and a few years I couldn't.
Sure.
But I really wished I had gone more, just to meet and see these people. Like, thankfully, I got to Stan Lee before he died. It was I think the previous year or the year before the previous year. Anyway, he was at Dragon Con. Went to Dragon Con like 4 or 5 years in a row. That's why all these stories that start with Dragon Con.
Uh-huh.
So anyway, and we got in the line. I actually sent off like 5 books and got him to sign them. And then there was a line foreman, and I thought we had to come back to go in the line and meet him, and I wanted to shake his hand. But apparently there was a line foreman, and we got in the line. And when I got up there, and he's like, okay, he's not shaking hands or anything. He's just signing today. That was his handlers, but I wasn't able to do nothing about it. So as we walk by him, I look at him and goes, "You already signed him?" And then he looks at me and goes, I'm like, I'm taking that as I met Stanley. I met Stanley. He was awesome. And that's it.
Wow.
And I got my my books back, and they were the coolest ones were the gold, the silver, and the green. Spider-Man 1, double signed McFarlane and Stanley. And I sold them.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
I told you I don't like signatures on my personal books. So if I have a signature, it's because I'm going to sell it.
I got you. Yeah. Me personally, I like the signatures, well placed. But yes, I like the signatures on them. So
Yeah,
each their own.
I'm gonna start paying more attention to that color of pen and placement, especially in person, because I can say, "Hey, please sign with this here."
Well, and talking about books, and there's some covers that really are not good for getting signed. First appearance of Rogue in that Avengers Annual is an example of
That's
that.
not a good cover as the cover.
Well, yeah, that too. But then also Infinity Gauntlet 1, really, it's such a full, busy cover.
No, there's plenty of places on this thing, man.
No, not as big as people sign, dude.
Look at here. You got the title.
But then that covers up the title, which is great.
Okay, you got the right there. By
People don't
Death's
sign
Head,
that
you can
small.
sign there. And then the best spot
Okay, that book was 50, now it's 25. Okay.
is right there on the gauntlet.
Yeah, that's where Rubenstein signed his.
Yeah, that's the best spot.
Yeah.
And then you got the box, the 50-year box.
And Rubenstein's got a big old signature.
And then you can sign right there in between Mephisto and Surfer.
Yeah, I think that's where Starlin signed his. So I gotta think about that because I'm gonna do a box for George Perez when I send that book off.
Well, remember, he only has one eye, so make the box big. Well, no, seriously, he's blind pretty much in one eye. So I would say right here, these people are no count and they don't matter on the cover. And then you have the Captain America box. So if you get him to sign in like a bright silver or gold or something like that, that whole corner would be great.
Yep, that would be good. I was looking to see if that one is in the one box that I've got stuff organized in. It's not. So I've been buying so many new boxes to keep up with the growing collection. I have one box of my signature books that's in alphabetical order. The other one's not. Yeah, and Rubenstein, he's kind of he's not the nicest one, but he's whatever.
Was to me.
Oh, was he? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Maybe he was just in a bad mood the 2 or 3 times I've seen him.
Well, it could be the question I asked him.
Oh, okay.
I asked him what artist's work did he hate inking the most, and he didn't name a person, but he said things like The Thing. He hates inking like The Thing because it's just a bunch of lines that he has to get right and shadow. He doesn't get to be an artist.
Right. That makes sense. Yeah, so he was talking when I walked up, which was interesting because Don Perlin's one whose art that I like. He created or co-created several different characters of which I like, Moon Knight, Bloodshot being 2. And he was talking with somebody else and he said something about Don Perlin. So he said he moved to California and then was at a convention and Don Perlin found out he moved to California. He goes, "Oh, you must be one of those liberals." And Rubenstein never confirmed nor denied. He was just like, why would somebody even ask that question? No. I guess he thought he knew you well enough to say something about it. I don't know.
Well, did you grab it?
What's that?
I thought you were going to grab your Infinity Gauntlet.
No. So Rubenstein is kind of crotchety, but he has good stories. Yeah, if you get him to talking, right. Yeah, and everybody's entitled to being a bad day, but he was kind of rough around the edges. You know, some creators you see, you could tell that they just eat up the fan creator experience, and they just love it.
Perfect example, Perez and Fabian Nicieza. They love it.
Yeah, Fabian was really nice, which is really funny because he's listed as with some people he's listed as the co-creator of Deadpool.
Well, no, he is the co-creator of Deadpool.
Huh?
I say he is the co-creator of Deadpool.
Well,
he's the one that gave him his words, so that informed and his thoughts.
Again, if you listen to Rob Liefeld, not so much.
Well, Rob Liefeld's kind of a dick, so.
Well, yeah, I've heard that too. And I've dealt with Rob Liefeld in exchanging emails, and I bought stuff off a live sale, which was kind of a crap show, by the way. But I bought some off of an Instagram live sale he did one time, and then he had somebody else reach out and contact me. He asked me if I still wanted the books. It's like, you said you were going to contact me with the totals, and you never did. Okay. And this was like 3 or 4 weeks after I bought the book. It was the crap show way he done the auction as to why it was that way, because you had people claiming all this stuff, and he just told us, he said, hey, look, if I have them left over, I'll get in contact with you. I might have sold too many. I'm like, what? So that's what I was looking for over here.
Yeah. I just let Rob Liefeld be.
I've got some signatures of his. I bought, books that were already signed by him.
Yeah, he's also got to where he's charging so much for a signature. He is no Stan Lee. He should not be charging what he is charging.
Do you think he would ever admit he was no Stan Lee?
Would he admit it? Probably.
In his mind, he probably is next to Stan. I don't know.
But I mean, even Todd McFarlane is $50.
Yeah.
So yeah, I probably will never. If I get to say hey, I'd love to do that. But other than that, I'll probably never get anything by Liefeld.
So what is going on, Scarecrow? One of the channel members, also one of the panelists when we have our auctions here on the channel. Let me see, do this. So here's my Infinity Gauntlet. So as you can see, Rubenstein, he's got this big old signature, went all the way over here, and then Starlin signed it right here.
Yeah.
And the only reason that was because I got Starlin to sign it first. And so the Galaxy Con was the first big con I went to. And I was like going all over the place because they had so many creators there and I had so many books to get signed. Well, I had a list and I went back and was going to all those people that were on that list. Well, I missed Infinity Gauntlet being signed. I'd already gotten some stuff signed by Rubenstein, and I missed the fact that he also did work on this. So after I got Starlin and I got to looking at my list, I said, oh, I was supposed to get Rubenstein to sign this too. So I go back over there and I said, hey, I forgot to get you to sign this one too. And he goes, oh, that's easy to do because I've already inked 1,000 different books in my life. I'm like, okay.
So what do you say now? I'm sorry, that was my mama.
No problem. So I had gotten him to already to sign some books and had moved on. Well, when I got Starlin to sign this, I looked back at my list and I said, oh, crap, I was supposed to get Rubenstein to sign this too. I went back. I said, oh, hey, how's it? It's me again. I forgot that you did this book too. And he says, oh, that's easy to do. I've done over 1,000 books in my lifetime.
Well, yeah, that doesn't sound crotchety. That's just he's done that many. It's easy to do.
Well, okay. Maybe I made it sound easier than or lighter than what he said it like. I'm here in Kansas City. I was lucky to meet the creators that I did when I did. Yeah, and that's the deal, you know. How close are you to things like that? I mean, growing up, comic conventions for me were a hotel room on Sunday afternoons with a bunch of boxes. You know, that's all I ever got.
Yeah, but I see a lot of spaces on yours. I see right here could go, or you could do the title. I see right here could maybe do something, and then I see right here. This whole swap right here, you could do something.
Because, you know, a lot of the Infinity Gauntlet, Ron Lim did them. But and in my mind, when I was getting everything ready back then, I was really thinking that he had worked on all of them. So that was not the case for I think, first 2 issues, maybe. So
Well, I have to have a CGC slab of Infinity Gauntlet right here. Jim Starlin story, George Perez and Rubenstein art, George Perez cover. That's it.
Yep. Yeah. So basically the same thing on 2 and 3. Let's see. So 4, he's Ron Lim is also doing pencils on 4, and he does the cover for 5, and does the cover for 6, and does the penciling for 6. So for whatever reason, he was helping out with that. And of course, when I was growing up, Ron Lim was basically the cosmic guy, because he was drawing Silver Surfer, the latter Infinity installments like Crusade and Infinity War. He did those. So he definitely did a lot of kind of shaped the way I think that Silver Surfer should look, if that makes sense. And Thanos, for that matter.
I've been thinking, we go set up in Huntsville.
Mm-hmm.
How do you want to split it? And what I mean by that is, it's going to be easy if you have the rack behind us, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we have, okay, that's my book, that's Will's book, and we have a sticky note or whatever with the price on it. That's going to be easy to write down. Okay, Will made this. Okay, Jason made this.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to the stuff in the boxes,
mm-hmm.
I was thinking, why don't we everything goes to you until you get your money back.
Okay.
My cost and your cost of the thing. But after that, I was thinking, for non-wall books that are easy to separate, we should probably come up with a percentage of some kind and split it at the end of each day or at the end of the convention. That way we can, because if someone might buy 5 books from me, 8 books from you, and then the next person might buy 23 books from me and 32 books from you, and one person might buy 1 from you, none from me. I mean, it'll be hard to keep that up.
Well, maybe. I think that, as far as sorting them, I've seen some shops do this, and in particular with shows, is they take and they do some kind of marker, whether it's spray paint or whatever, across the top of the.
Yeah, I've thought of that, but the problem I see with that is, if I'm green and you're red,
mm-hmm.
and we're trying to go, okay, this many green, and hey, sir, how much is this? That's Will's book. Oh, he isn't here. I'm not sure. Or he told me I could take off a couple dollars if I need to. It's $1 off. And then, now, were those green or were those red? Crap. And oh, yes, ma'am. How can I help you right here? I'm thinking.
Yeah, I think writing it down, like you just have a notepad, and we'll sort it out at the end of the day. As far as, okay, if I say if I go, all right, Will got this, or he sold 5 books out of his $2 box, okay, and for this total, and then I could put some little mark like I use my credit card processor or my Cash App, whatever, and then you do the same for yours, and then we can sort it out that way, if that makes sense. So
yeah, but I still think that's a bit too much trouble. Why not do like you get 55 and I get 45%?
Well, I mean,
after you get your money back.
What if you sell more books than I do?
Well, hopefully I'm going to sell them all. Hopefully you're going to sell them all.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's painfully obvious, well, then obviously we'll think of something else. But if it's what I think it's going to be like, we're both probably going to have a lot of books sold, and it's going to be a bit of a mess. But I mean, let's say we make $400 the first day.
Right.
Okay. Well, like $50 of that would be split in some way, because the rest of it would go to you for the tickets and everything. Let's say the next day we make $1,000 in sales, and then the next day we do another $1,000 in sales. Okay. Well, we just, if it's a bunch from mine and a bunch from you, we just split that however we want. Or if it's all you and very little me, well, then we would split that differently, and vice versa.
Well, I'm just thinking that you're already going to have a process for books that are like the wall books, as an example.
Yeah, wall books will be easy to mark down though and write down.
Well, I mean, I think that the others would be just as easy because you're counting 5 books or 6 books, because you might be gone and the people say, okay, I'm going to pay with my credit card. Well, I'll run it through my credit card processor. Minus any fees, that's still your money. And then we have to take, that I owe you back.
Yeah, I'm still thinking though. We'll have to figure out something and think about it. Do we want to use both Cash Apps and PayPals, or do we want one of us to have their PayPal and one of us to have their Cash App, or it be the same person, and everything goes through them, and then the credit cards go through you? That way we can divvy it up pretty easy.
So I don't know. I have a credit card processor. I don't know if you do.
I do not.
Okay, so
I have PayPal, Cash App, and cold hard cash.
Now, it might be easier to use one of ours as opposed to going back and forth like that.
Yeah, I think since you're buying everything and you have the credit card thing, you should handle that, and we could use my PayPal and my Cash App for the people that do those. And that way, all I got to do is figure out what's not mine and send it to you.
Yeah, so that would be one less thing to keep up with and mark down as to who would have got that. But
and then cash is easy. We just cash.
Yeah. So as Scarecrow said, I feel like I walked into a corporate meeting. Yeah,
I've got about a short box worth of books that are priced. Now some of them are only priced $2, but priced is priced. And I have probably 25 magazines that are priced, and then it'll be whatever's on the wall, unless I come up with anything else that I throw in priced. Everything else will be dollars.
Yeah. And I'm going to have more of that. See, that's the thing. I'm going to have more of that than I do wall books too. I'll have a copy of my extra copy of Giant Size X-Men 1 there, among other stuff. So,
yeah,
we shall see. But I got to get into the thought process of picking up some more stuff between now and then for that. Like when I go to Pensacon in February, I think Hudat said, I don't know if he said it was February, that the MegaCon down in New Orleans, if that's January or February, but that's another one.
I think that's January.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Yep, January 7th through the 9th. So, yes, very shortly, a month from today, yesterday.
But, yeah, you know what? The first day is probably going to be one of the slower days, and I think it's only 4 hours of convention instead of the other 2 days, which are full days.
Right.
So we could probably just try one way, and then okay, if this doesn't work, we'll do the percentage thing, and then just see if it works or not, or how well.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. You'll probably have an opportunity to kind of feel our way through that.
Yeah. And so I guess the question is, what colors do we want to do?
Yeah, make sure we don't do the same ones. Yeah.
Yeah. I've already got a green Sharpie, so I can mark all of my priced stuff with a green mark on the top. We can not mark any of yours, and then the rest of my books that are just $1, I'll mark with a different color.
So you're going to have $1 and $2 options.
No, I'll have $1. Most of everything's going to be $1, and then the occasional book will be priced.
Oh, okay.
And they'll have a green thing on it, and then some other color will be for my other books, and then everything of yours will have nothing on it.
Right.
And I'll bring my plastic long boxes too. They'll make it so it's a bit nicer looking than all the white ones. But I mean, I may have some 10-cent comics or something that I'll throw on the floor, and I'll have those in like white crappy long boxes.
So I had, yeah, when you were talking about space earlier, that's another thought, that we don't want to ideally put stuff on the floor because, but that is, we got the top of the table and then also below the table. I was mentioning about this Fan Expo in New Orleans in January. So they're going to have Anthony Mackie.
That's good.
William Shatner.
I want to meet him.
Ming-Na Wen, who is Phoenix Shin from The Mandalorian. I think she's played on some other stuff too. Kevin Smith and the other guy from Clerks. That's Stephen Amell from Arrow. Ron Perlman. Michael Rooker. Some other people I don't recognize. There's a couple other people from Clerks. Then as far as voice actors, they don't really have, they got some of the Dragon Ball Z folks, but nothing really earth shattering there. Comic creators.
There we go.
We've got these are all names I don't even recognize here. Stephen Burks, Preston S. Avedo, Chris Campana, Preston Acevedo says done Punk Mambo, which is a Valiant title. So I probably got some stuff of his. Jeremy Clark, which he's at like almost every con. Ariel Diaz, which is Divine Immortality on Instagram. She's going to be there. I've bought some of her prints and I actually just bought a sketch cover from her, a Batman sketch cover she'd done. Guy Gilchrist. Who is a Muppets artist. Danny Gover they got a little cool Nightcrawler picture here. Gavin Guidry, rather. He's from the New Orleans area. He's done some TMNT and some indie stuff. Ryan Kincaid. Steve Leidick, he's done some inking for Transformers for IDW. Roland Parrish, I think he's done some Spider-Man stuff. Tone Rodriguez, which is Stray Dogs, which Tone is from North Louisiana or South Arkansas one. Fabris Sapolsky, who is listed as the co-creator of Spider-Man Noir. Jamie Tyndall usually draws the lady stuff. Yeah. I mean, kind of light on that side. Which Fan Expo in Dallas was much the same way. They're very light on that. Tons of celebrities, which they had Kevin Conroy there. So I did appreciate that one. All right, so there is that.
So you go into that or no?
Oh, yeah. I mean, just because it's so close. Yeah, unless something comes up, I'll be there just because it's so close. But see what's up. Well, man, I stayed on a lot longer than what I figured, and we'll blame Big Will for that. But yeah, so
I'll take it.
Almost 3 hours, whereas I was planning on cutting off at an hour. But I do appreciate everybody for hanging out. Big Will for coming on, but I got some other adulting stuff I need to do today. So I will more than likely, if you're sub to the channel, if you're following me on Instagram, you'll know, but I'm might be doing an auction on the channel tomorrow, the normal Saturday morning cartoon deal at 1 p.m. Central Time. I'm not sure yet, but I think I am. I am not going to be doing Monday. So originally I thought, well, hey, I'm not going to have today because I thought it was going to be, Saturday because I thought I was going to be on another show. I was off a week. Now I've got, because of my work schedule next week, not going to be able to do an auction Monday. So I might be doing one Saturday instead. One last auction prior to the end of the year. But we shall see. Stay tuned for that. Want to give another shout out to the channel supporters, people that are supporting the channel through their monthly membership, whether on Patreon or YouTube or both. If you're interested in supporting the channel through one of or both of those means, then certainly feel free by clicking the link tree link in the description below. Of course, it comes with benefits. 9.4 copy of Uncanny X-Men 266 is going to be this month's giveaway. And if you are a channel member, each channel membership gets you 10 entries to win. Also, you can do super chats, $1 for every entry during the month of December. Then you can get in that way as well. I do appreciate everybody for watching today. Until next time, keep reading and keep collecting. Adios.